Greetings to you from Maple Leaf Gardens, where tonight's visitors are the Quebec Nordiques. When you mention the Nordiques, the first name that comes to mind is Stastny. And the first Stastny you think of is Peter, the NHL's best rookie in 1981 with 109 points. He has topped that mark in 3 subsequent seasons. Early in his 5th NHL campaign, he closes in on 500 career points. Live on CBC, Hockey Night in Canada. Brought to you by Molson, North America's oldest brewery with nearly 200 years of brewing excellence. Esso, with over 3,000 locations across Canada to serve you better. And by Ford of Canada, where quality is more than a commitment. Quality is job one.
Hard work will go a long ways as far as doing well in the National Hockey League. If they have the ability, it's going to be a great help as well. But I think it's only human nature sometimes to take the easy way out of things. And I think if we can get these guys working harder, we'll get better play out of them.
And I want the hockey team to improve a lot and make the playoffs. That's our goal, I believe, this year. And then just have a great season. But you know, then you got to look at personal things, and if I'd be a little disappointed if I didn't get 50 again.
Presumably, the Leafs haven't worked hard enough in their last 3 games, and Rick Vaive has scored just 1 goal. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dave Hodge. Dan Maloney's patience ran out after last night's 4-1 loss in New Jersey. It'll be interesting to see how the Leafs react tonight. For a brief pregame word on the Nordiques, here are our announcers in the booth, Bob Cole and Gary Dornhofer.
Michel Bergeron has a problem many coaches in the National League would like to have, Gary. He's got 3 goaltenders, and they're all good. But the number 1 goaltender, according to him, Bouchard, is at home.
Kind of a strange situation, Bob. Bergeron feels that Bouchard plays better if he doesn't play as many games. Tonight, we got Gosselin and Sevigny here. Gosselin will play, and I think he's trying to establish who is going to be number 2, but the 3 goaltender system does not work.
So, Bergeron says it's not a problem with 3 goaltenders. He has other problems he hopes to figure out tonight against the Maple Leafs. Dave?
Rookie goaltender Mike Sands will be making his first NHL start tonight in Montreal. That's our update game. We'll be watching Mike Sands and the North Stars against the Canadiens. Hockey Night in Canada on CBC returns in just a moment. The Nordiques also lost last night, 5-4 in Buffalo, and one wonders what they'll have going for them tonight in Toronto. Now, most teams say they always get up to come into Maple Leaf Gardens, but I wonder about the Quebec Nordiques specifically. They just had a back-to-back home-and-home series with Buffalo. Their next game is against Montreal in that tough Adams division, and you know there's nothing bigger for Quebec than a game against the Canadiens. Is Toronto just another stop for them?
It is. They're looking forward to that next game. I mean, they can hardly wait to that. If Toronto's really going to get them, tonight would be the night, because their mind is next week.
Where's the Leafs' mind after last night?
Well, I don't know. You know, we made fun of them, and we've been making fun of them, but the Devils look a lot better team. I think Carpenter's doing a good job with them. They've got a good goaltender, and I think they were up a little higher than usual. I think that was one for Carpenter last night.
All those players and us and most of the fans knew that it wasn't going to take too long, assuming the Leafs fell below the 500 mark, for Dan Maloney to pop off in whatever fashion. What effect might that have now that the Leafs have seen his wrath or felt it?
Well, you want my honest opinion? I don't think what now I'm supposed to do is slide it off in that, but I'm going to tell you, I don't think it'll do any good at all. In this day and age, when you give players heck in that, and they've got 3-year contracts with $150,000, no, that's the way you want it, fine. Every time we lose, it's going to be our fault. They're going to say, hey, well, okay, if it's our fault, we'll go through the motions. It does not work in today's hockey, blasting the players.
Well, I want to talk about this later in the show, about the tough coach trying to get the team to be just as tough as he used to be on the ice, and whether it is easy or not. I sense that you think it's not automatic, and that's certainly the case, at least in the last 3 games. Anyway, Don Cherry later. Right now, the Nordiques and the Leafs momentarily.
Thank you, Dave and Don. Toronto Maple Leafs and Quebec Nordiques come into this game with identical records, 2 wins and 3 losses. The officials tonight, there you see them, Brian Lewis, referee Ron Finn, and Will Norris are the two linesmen.
Mario Goslin, look for quickness and a great glove hand. Now, he's a stand-up goaltender. He will challenge the shooters, but not come out quite as far as Sevigny. Reggett, on the other hand, he looks like a goaltender. The way he moves effortlessly in front of his crease, gaining that valuable position, shutting down the shooters. I've got to tell you one thing, Bob, he will be a great goaltender before his career's over.
Quebec starts with Price and Moeller on the defense. McKechnie, Savard, and Paiement up front. Derlego, Anderson, and Vibe together again, and they're starting this hockey game. One goal between the three of them on the season, that one owned by Rick Vibe. Root and Nyland on the defense, and the Leafs shoot it in. That's Randy Moeller, the 21-year-old, clearing it up on the boards and down the ice. Icing is waved off by linesman Will Norris. Root in there quickly. He has been very steady on the Leaf defense. Bill Root has, number 28.
This is the time for Dan Maloney and the Maple Leafs to put a stop to the losing streak. That's something you really have to do. You know, you can't keep going, taking one game at a time and keep losing one game after another, and it takes a complete effort. Dan talked about it. He has been disappointed in the work effort of some of his players, and he went so far as to even mention that the Derlego, Vibe, Anderson was not pulling their weight, and the Leafs depend on that unit to carry this hockey club.
The Stesneys are together again. Peter, Marion, and Anton. Anton is on the left. Marion, number 18, on the right. Anton, the first shot on goal, and a big one, and a big save by Ken Reggett. Anton Stesney bursting in on the young goaltender.
Now, Bergeron knows that this Stastny line is the key to the Quebec Nordique Hockey Club. 4th year now with the Nordiques, and he feels that with some of the young players coming in, this could be the year for them to excel.
Preachers, number 14, Therion, and Inachak for Toronto. Fired off into the corner. Leafs trying to clear it out. The Stastnys go to work. Played it in front of the net. That was Peter, and he was tied up. Bill Root again covering. Derlego is on the ice now with Therion on his left. He got the pass. Great save by Goslin. Two big saves in the first minute of play. One by Reggett, the other by Goslin. There is no score. Here's Marois' shot. Off the boards, it ricochets down the ice. Racing after it, Preacher. In against Marois. The defenseman for Quebec is there first. Rochefort clearing it ahead. Knocked down outside the line. Waiting is Bob McGill, and he fired it in. The Leafs making changes now. Korn over the boards and on the ice. Benning shot, scooped up by the youngster Goslin, and he hangs on to it. He played with the Canadian Olympic team in '84. Quebec's third choice. 55th overall.
Well, there's a guy that has really had himself quite a start with the Maple Leafs this year. Everybody has seen what he can do with the puck, carrying it in traffic, and Dan Maloney had mentioned that Preacher along with Inachek have been their two key players and involved in most of the goals, and you know, if they can stay away from the injuries, what an asset.
Korn from the draw as Daou won the face-off. It comes in front, Gavin falling, knocked it down, could not control it. Pat Price is number 7, lost it against Gavin. He got it in front, he just handed it away to Slager. Louis Slager is coming in. That Slager got away from a check. Slager got it back in front, the quick shot. Rebound was set up. Reggett sharp in the early going. We only played 2 minutes of the first period. There is no score, but already there have been a couple of pretty good chances. Daou hooked it in with one hand, and back is Randy Moeller. Moeller cleared it ahead near the line. The Nordiques Slager coming to center ice. Slager, look out, he got away from a check again, thrown by McGill. McGill went sprawling. He went sliding out across the blue line, got back in time, could break it up in front, another chance. Tied up his man in time. Slager might have had a good shot on the net, but for McGill getting back in time. The two teams are making changes now. Quebec starting up again, a long pass, missed Paiement. Rochefort going back. Icing called against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Tonight's game is coming to you from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
Now when the thirst starts, it's gonna take a beer with heart. has got heart. Olsen Light has got heart. It's Light Taste has got heart. Heart! This one's got it.
Well, as a centerman, you have to take responsibility for your line. Last year, 40 goals. Bill Derlago still looking for his first of the season.
Myatt Brady is on the ice for his first turn. He's number 33. Marwalk couldn't get the shot through. Hit Derlago in front of the net. This is Jackson coming out. Derlago was trailing. On the right side, the Leafs break in. Portnoy trying to play it back. Couldn't get the pass. Paymon at center ice. Savard carried on, was hit hard inside the line by Brubaker. Brubaker on the right wing now, number 23 for Toronto. Marwalk coming in again. Gets in front. Paymon backhand shot, a weak one, stop as it hit a skate. Paymon again on the boards, gets set, make the shot, throw it to the side of the net. A crowd in front of Ken Regan. The Leafs cut her up. Brubaker got as far as the line, another long shot, and that's deflected over the glass. Here's Dave Hodge now for Hockey Night in Canada update.
Some early support for rookie goaltender Mike Sands in his first NHL start. Larry Robinson puts the puck right to Mark Napier, and Brian Lawton has an easy goal, his first of the season, beating Doug Sotart.
They played 3:24 in the opening period here in Toronto. Here's the score. Nothing to show yet.
Again, Maloney using Derlago to take a lot of the faceoffs in his own end, Bob. As soon as Leafs gain possession, he'll go to the bench, and then the centerman of the line will come on the ice.
Lee Stastny's again. Getting the draw was Peter. Back in front, Anton. Left it to Marion. And look at Regan go to work again. I'll tell you, Gary, that is covering the angle and watching the puck all the time. He moved just in time.
His great position. Well, Bill Derlago, he's lost a couple of face-offs already. Now let's keep an eye on the goaltender. You notice how he moves over, getting that valuable position, move from side to side. Now watch him. He is in just perfect position to take that goal away from Stastny. This is a key here, Bob, this line. You've got to control them. You can't give them that blue line, especially with Peter carrying the puck.
So Anton has had a good chance. Now Marion has had a chance. I guess it only follows that Peter is coming up. Lehman is on the ice, as you see. He's number 4. He's playing on the defense with Nyland for Toronto. Derlago is up front. Pirion and Vibe, the wingers. Pass in front, chopped away, and out to center ice. Vibe racing after it, out of the net, Gosselin. A good move by the youngster to race Vibe to the puck. Vibe has 1 goal to show so far this season. He knows he's having a slow start. It's starting to hurt him a little bit. Marion Stastny's shot deflected into the crowd, and the play is called. They played 4 minutes and a second of the opening period. No score.
Hey, Canada, get deals by the truckload. Your Ford and Mercury drive-away celebration is on now. Our dealers are driving for your best deals and tracking them direct from the factory to you. Get a tough-to-beat deal on new 85 Ranger and F-Series Explorer trucks, up to $1,500 off. Get Tough Ranger, the best-selling compact truck in Canada. Drive-away celebration means great deals, great quality, and great selection on 85s and 84s, too.
We can't be outdone at Ford. Quality is job one.
The Canadians have answered Brian Lawton's goal quickly. Steve's shot from the corner, and Mike Sands' 1-0 lead disappears just as fast as Schutt fires the puck. The Canadians have tied it.
Here it's tied. No score in the hockey game here at Maple Leaf Gardens. Hunter, number 32, got the draw, wrestled a bit for it. Couldn't move in. The Leafs get it out across the line. Daou on there with Gavin and Korn for Toronto. That's Gavin, number 9. Backhands it in off the boards. Coming back is Peter Lube. He's number 31, but in behind the net. It's cleared the other way by Rochefort. Jimmy Mann, number 10. Couldn't catch up to it. Held on the boards again over there. Another face-off coming up. Back in the Quebec zone.
Well, we all remember Håkan Lube of the Calgary Flames. There's number 31, Peter. Good with the puck, can skate with it, move it out of his own end. He certainly isn't a physical player. So when he joins the Nordiques back in defense, and the school is still out, whether he'll be able to make it in the National Hockey League, Bob.
He's 27. The brother, Håkan Lube, 24. He's 6'3", the brother 5'9". Hokenlu, you know, the year he had with Calgary last year, named to the All-Star rookie team, 55 points. He had 30 goals for Calgary. Let's see how the big brother makes out this year with Quebec. Jimmy Mann is number 10. Raffle one in on the boards. Hunter in there buzzing around, got it in front, shot at the side of the net. Again from the corner, back it comes. Marois shot, knocked down in front. Reagan has to move quickly. Penalty coming up. And I think it's against the Toronto Maple Leafs. First penalty called in the hockey game. It'll go against the Leafs. We'll be back after this.
In nature centers all across Canada, business travelers are discovering Holiday Inn hotels are a better place to be.
No score, nearing the 5-minute mark of the opening period. And the Nordiques now go on the power play. Peter Stastny into the corner. Goulet is on the ice. Marion, Stastny, and Anton back at the blue line. Peter hands it off to the side of the net. Pass just missed Marion Stastny. The Leafs have a pretty good percentage going. They're better than 90% killing penalties.
Well, that's a bright spot for them, Bob. They're second in the league, and they've only given up 3 power play goals against. So let's see what they can do against this high-powered hockey club.
Reggett, who has made a couple of dandy stops so far in the hockey game, will likely be tested now as the Nordiques go back to line up on the power play.
One thing, you can't let Peter carry the puck. I would pay a little closer attention to him.
Leafs nearly stole it for his shot. That was Therion. Now the Nordiques come in. There's Peter's shot. He ripped a hard one, but wide. And Constantine missed it. 2-1 one back. Gavin going in with Therion. Marmois back. Gavin. And a great save by Gosselin. Leafs keep it in, though. They came close on that play. Gosselin with a quick pad save. No score. The opening period. 45 seconds left, and the penalty to McGill of Toronto. Up to center. That's Peter Stastny leaving it up the line. Marion is here. Anton parked behind him. He tried to pass it in front, then tried to pass it back. Got a third chance to the corner to Peter, to Marion. Marion gets set, rim of the circle to Anton. Anton to Marion, closing in, shooting, hit the goal post. It comes back. Anton Stastny, lovely save by Ken Reagan.
Well, the Leafs take advantage of a miscue by the Nordiques, and they'll go ahead on a 2-on-1 break and get a good shot again against Gosselin. And then right away, the Nordiques come back and throw that puck around. Look at that quick shot by Stastny right off the goalpost. But the one that really looks impressive is that long shot. Here's the one we were talking about, Gavin. Lets it fly, really doesn't have much of an angle. And I was surprised that Gosselin doesn't come out and challenge a little more on that one. But he did make the pad save.
Only 15 seconds left in the McGill penalty. The Leafs on the verge of killing this first penalty of the game, but Payma trying to do something about it now. One last shot up this power play rush on the boards. Price cleared it into the corner. Payma went in after it. Payma tried to center it, couldn't. McGill is on the ice. The penalty is over. Leafs have killed another one. Payma couldn't center it. That's Savard in there helping him. Savard got his stick on it. In front was Iafrate. And McGill out of the penalty box got to center ice. Pulled his man to the ice, allowing Preacher to move in. Preacher is alone on the play and was stopped. 3 Nordiques back to center ice. This is Savard. Dipsy noodles in front of the net. Nice play, but the pass just a little behind. The on-rushing winger right in front. Reagan down again. Made a big save. Wow. What stops by Reagan? And we played just 7 minutes of the opening period. Therion going back to the net, coming in front. Gets set, pass. Wow! Another big save by Gosselin. Puck is in the net. But the referee, Brian Lewis, had called the play. But we got some action going in this first 7:41 of the opening period.
Now Dan Maloney's looking into his own end of the ice. He feels a little discouraged at the chances that the Nordiques are getting. The Leafs come right back. Gary Lehman lets one fly. It's behind Goslin. And suddenly it comes loose. But once Lewis lost possession of that puck or lost sight of it, immediately he has to blow the whistle, which is exactly what happened.
Well, he called it right away, put the arm up. Lehman came awfully close. And a penalty is called against the Quebec Nordiques. Moeller is gone. A holding penalty. 7:41 the time. So the Leafs have just killed a power play when McGill went off. Now let's see how they do on a power play themselves. They haven't been doing very well.
No, they haven't, Bob. And currently 14th in the league. They've only scored 4 power play goals and 27 chances, so that works out to 14.8%. And you have to get over that 20% mark to be effective.
Inicek is 18. Now he is not 100%, suffering from the flu. Did not skate today, but he's on the ice now. That's Cote, 19. Got it by Iafrate. Benning is on the defense with him. Iafrate, a real good skater, just a youngster, 18 years old. Coming up is Inicek. Got it in across the line. Inicek to the corner with Terrion. Terrion and Inicek there. Terrion comes back to the point, gets it again from Iafrate. Cutting in front. Threw it up high, back to the net. Preacher is bumped on the boards. Benning waiting back of the line for Inicek's pass. Benning, Inicek got in front. Now it's finally to Benning. There's the shot. Goslin with sharp eyes scooped it up and grabbed it. Now let's go to Dave Hodge for Hockey Night in Canada update.
On a power play, the Canadians have scored again. Steve Shutt has scored again. Guy Lafleur from behind the net gives it to Shutt. Mike Sands, the rookie, no chance. And the Canadians lead Minnesota 2-1.
One thing we note about the Nordiques, when they're killing a penalty, they're very aggressive in their checking. They're not allowing the Leafs to have time to make the play. So it's very important the Leafs get the puck, move it as quickly as possible.
There's Benning cutting it again. Another shot. Good save by Mario Goslin. Now 2 Nordiques break out of the zone. Hunter waits for the pass from Savard. Here it is. Hunter tied up by Rick Five, and he's going to get a penalty. Five, a pretty good effort coming back. And he is being called. So he'll go. There's Rick Five, the captain of the Leafs, penalized here for hooking.
Blue, we got to get some good winter radio.
Oh, Don, you're great.
What a selection. No wonder Canadians are switching to Bridgestone.
Of course.
Winter radios with great traction power.
And all-season radios, too.
And look, Blue, we could win a Bridgestone trip for 2 to Hawaii.
Hawaii?
Just think, Blue, you and me in Hawaii.
Oh, boy.
In Blue Hawaii.
What a voice.
Blue, I'm sold. It's time to switch to Bridgestone.
Don, you really put on the dog.
On the Leafs' loss, they've been taking a lot of bad penalties. Now, Rick Vive does not have very good position against Hunter, but you can't classify that as a bad penalty because it probably saved the goal.
Well, Vive goes off here at 8:41. Now Moeller has 58 seconds remaining in his penalty. So at this moment, they're 5 aside. And just a little less than a minute from now, Nordiques will be on the power play again. Leafs trying to clear it out. They do. Gerlego reached for it. Couldn't quite make it. Anton Stastny takes over. He's on with Peter against Gerlego and Anderson, number 10. There he is. Nearly stole it from Rochefort, who's now upended, falling to the ice. The play comes to center. Lube trying to go in. It was gloved ahead, though, on that play. And called back.
There's Norman Rochefort. He was a first-round pick back in '80. 4 years of junior hockey. Big guy, 6'3", 200 pounds. Concentrates strictly on defense. He'll move guys from in front of the net. With his size, I guess he's allowed to do whatever he wants.
Chance to say hello now to Stan Abodiak, the publicity director for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Stan has been ill for some time. We understand he's feeling much better. He's watching tonight. We miss you, Stan. You enjoy the game. Right now, it's no score. Toronto and Quebec. 5 in the penalty box. Moeller for Quebec. Moeller ready to come on. He has another 15 seconds to serve in his penalty as Bill Root comes to center. Fired in off his stick and back of the net is Bell. Bruce Bell clearing it. Peter Stastny to center. Price with him. Peter trying to do it himself. Nyland, a good play by Nyland. Now Nyland gets a chance to center ice. Played it through, but Derlego looking for the lead pass. It didn't come quickly enough, and he was just offside. Miller's on the ice.
Talk about the youngsters coming in the league, Bob. There's 19-year-old Bruce Bell. Played for the Brentford Alexanders last year in the OHL. He was a third-round pick in '83. Only 5 foot 11 inches, 180 pounds. The Nordiques have high hopes for the young fellow. I almost made the team last year during training camp, but because of his work this year, he's here.
Five has 57 seconds remaining in his penalties. So at this moment, the Nordiques have the man advantage. Marion Stastny. That's Marois, the defenseman, playing it up. Slager is another winger for Quebec. Goulet on the left side. Hunter is at center ice. There's Marion Stastny. Couldn't quite control it. The Nordiques looking a little disorganized now. 30 seconds left on the power play. Marois killing a few more seconds around the net to give it to Marion Stastny. Leeds, good penalty killing again. That's McGill. And Iafrate going after his man. Luckily, the pass was in behind Slager. He was behind the Leaf defenseman.
Bob, you have to do that, you know, get on somebody and don't let them get time to set up in their own zone and come out up the ice very easy. You have to make them and force them to make bad plays, and that's what the Leafs are doing.
Leafs have killed another penalty. 5 steps from the penalty box. So they're at full strength again. 5 just in time to help spoil the shot, which was lifted high and off the shoulder of Reagan. So Vive playing a major role in getting back to maybe prevent a goal. There's no score in the game.
Well, Iafrate continues to impress the Maple Leafs as far as plus-minus is concerned, and everybody keeps those notes. He is even at the present time, has yet to register a point, but his puck control and the ability to make passes out of his own end has been very good. Gets better with every game, so Dan Maloney says it.
Paul Gillis is 23 for Quebec. Paiement on the right wing. And McKegney now on the left side for the Nordiques. Derlego with Anderson and Vive for Toronto. Gillis, after the draw, got it back near the point. Moeller waits for it. Nearly skipped outside the line. The Nordiques keep it in. Slapping it in behind the net was Moeller. But Nyland, the big fellow, cleared it ahead before McKegney could get in. Vive hasn't scored against Quebec in their last 5 meetings. That is his longest scoreless streak against any NHL club. That's McKegney just slipping it by the near side. Root flipped it to the corner. Nordiques now trying to set it up in front for McKegney again. Nyland covered him. And here's Vive. He's bumped right away, but got a neat play away. The pass hit Anderson, and he gave it away. Nordiques come back in. Reagan had to be careful on McKegney. Having a pretty good shift. He had 2 or 3 pretty good chances.
Bob, the difference right now is the Leafs are allowing the Nordiques to cross over their blue line. The Nordiques, on the meantime, are standing up at the blue line and making it very difficult. And once you get over the blue line, you get shots on net, as we just saw on that play. You have to force, as far as the defensemen are concerned, they have to challenge, but you can only do that if the forwards have their wingers covered. This game is going to be won between the 2 blue lines. With a skating club like the Nordiques, you can't give them that opportunity to get into full gear. You have to try to get in front of them and slow them down.
Quebec has outshot Toronto 7-6. We played 11:39 of the opening period. Peter, Marion, and Anton Stastny once again. For Quebec, Derlego is on the ice. That is Courtnall, 16. Marois shot nowhere near the net. McGill, the defenseman, racing for it, got it ahead. Korn on the left side for Toronto and didn't get very far. Couldn't pick up the pass. He was covered. McGill has to go all the way back. Marion Stastny is forechecking. The pass high on the glass. Peter knocked it down to Marion, to Anton, to Marois, to Peter, cutting in front, right in front of the net. And Reagan had to be careful. It came off the skate, rolled right to him. Nordiques keeping it in. Now the Leafs finally get out. Benning's pass ahead. Here comes Jim Korn. Korn breaks for the net. Tried to roll a pass in. He was covered by Marion Stastny and didn't get a good shot away. Nordiques Peter Stastny drifting back. 7.5 minutes left in the opening period. Korn checked in pretty well. Here's Korn again, forechecking. Long lead pass, stopped near the line. Anton Stastny coming in, cut right in. Backhand shot, stopped by Luggins. Goaltender has been good, but not great for Toronto in this first period. From Toronto, this is Hockey Night in Canada.
Again, here's that high angle shot that we get a new camera position. You can see the breakout, and as long as you don't challenge the Nordique, of course he's going to go right at the net. And again, Reggett has been the difference. He's had 9 shots against them. 6 of them have been good scoring opportunities.
Bob Cole and Gary Dornhofer in the booth at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. We're in the first period with a little better than 7 minutes to play. No score. Long play goes out to center ice and knocked down there. Goulet lost it, but Hunter carried on. Hunter a man. Man, a weak shot, but he had Reggett coming toward him. He was nearly off balance. Reacher. Stop. Into the corner goes Hunter, and he was stopped by Lehman. Now he and Preacher get together to get it as far as the line and out to center. I am afraid he finds a hole and he can skate. Decides to play it into Preacher instead of moving. Preacher then lost it, and the Nordiques cleared back out again. Jimmy Mann hands it off to Goulet. Goulet is tied up. Fired on the boards by Inachak to center ice, and Price back to his own line with the 2 teams making changes again. Here comes Slager cutting in. He was chopped at by Iafredi. Puck comes to the corner. Iafredi lost it. Therion has it though. Played it over on a skate. Comes right back this side to Inachak. He's in with Rick Vine, cruising to the net. Inachak! No goal again. Face off in the Quebec zone. Heading back, did go in the net, but the play had been whistled dead.
Boy, I don't believe that one. I don't believe that one. Well, folks, you're going to get another look at just a tremendous effort by Peter Inachak. He has been carrying this hockey club. You know, you talk about a burst of speed. Watch this. There it is right there, and the tremendous balance cutting in front. There's the flip shot. Now he doesn't have possession. He knocks the puck in himself, but referee Lewis said no goal. Notice how he uses that right foot to ward off the defender. Got around Lube there, made it look very easy.
There is still no score in this game. And we've had some pretty good chances. A couple have gone in, but have been called back. Whistle had gone. Root is in. Back to the zone net. Root to Anderson. He just tipped it out to center ice. Cote is over there. Cote with Savard, number 11, and Slager taking up that line on the right wing for Quebec. Price has to fire back to the zone net. Cote is back. Cote and Vibe took a check. Anderson ran into his man. Vibe still hacking away looking for it. Big swing of a forechecking, and here come penalties. It's against the Quebec Nordiques now. Vibe drawing the penalty. He was stripped inside the Quebec blue line, and the Nordiques, Pat Price, goes off.
The greatest service a service station can offer you is quality products.
Quality gasoline should contain no water or other impurities. It should be formulated to avoid deposit formations. The fuel mixture should be distributed evenly to each cylinder, and its octane should satisfy engine requirements.
Esso's research is developing products that really do meet your needs. Because of you, we're getting better.
The
The best way to get out of a scoring slump is just to work as hard as you can. Now the whole line, Derlego's line, were working, they were bumping, they were grinding. Price retaliates, trips, Vive, Leafs on the power play.
And only 5:31 to play in the opening period. Derlego, Anderson, Vive, Benning, and Iafrate for the Maple Leafs. McKegney with Hunter, penalty killers up front. Rochefort and Marois, the two defensemen for the Nordiques. Now 1:50 left on the power play, and they miscue on the first attempt to move it out. So Benning will circle back. Iafrate being watched by the smooth skating McKegney. And Iafrate doing a bit of hustling himself now on this rush. Got it into Anderson, who immediately fell down. And Benning takes it back to center ice. Benning lost it as Iafrate had to go off his stick. Hunter in all along. Scores! Unfortunate for the Leaf defense pairing. Puck bouncing around and a bad play up their own blue line, and Leggett was at the mercy of Hunter. It's 1-0 Quebec.
Yeah, Iafrate, when he got possession of the puck, you'll see that he'll kind of stumble and go backwards, and a puck will bounce. Now, when he's trying to stop and get back in the play, he loses his balance. Well, Hunter's right there. A one-on-one, it's always a very interesting play. And you saw Hunter had Riggett moving kind of funny, and he just slipped the puck through his legs. Riggett never did get good balance on the play, and the Nordiques score a shorthanded goal.
And the goal comes at 15:06 of this first period. So 1-0 Quebec. Inachak now, Leafs still on the power play. Inachak has stopped just inside the line, and Cote wasted no time shooting it down the ice. A minute left in the penalty to Price of Quebec. Rochefort at his own blue line. Coming back near center, circled with it. Played down the ice by Randy Moeller.
Well, the Leafs have had all kinds of trouble carrying the puck over the Nordiques blue line. You're almost better to just get together on the bench, say, look, when I cross over the red line, I'm going to shoot it in, make sure both forwards are going at top speed.
Horn has it off the boards. Now he'll take his time to set it up, looking back near the line. It's back to the net, Preacher and Inachak. And another penalty coming up, I believe, Jim Horn. This time, he pushed the defenseman right into the back goal. Brian Lewis was standing right there.
Gosselin certainly did the right thing. He got right out of that goal crease, standing to the side in the face-off circle. About that shorthanded goal by the Nordiques, that was their first of the year. All right, let's have a look and see the way that happened. There'd be quite a jam up in front of the net. There's what you talk about, taking bad penalties. No reason to give the guy the stick. You got the puck in the Nordiques end of the ice, and you take a bad penalty like that. But let's have another look at the 1-0 lead that the Nordiques took from the high angle. You can see Riggett backing up, and there's that little slip through the legs. Give Hunter marks on that one. He made a pretty good play.
So Corrin is in the box for cross-checking. The Quebec player right into the Quebec net. So now they're 5 aside. 25 seconds. The Nordiques will be on the power play again as Price will have his penalty served.
Well, that's what Maloney had talked about, all the bad penalties that the Leafs are taking in the last 3 games and also again tonight. It just stops any kind of momentum that you're trying to generate. All you're doing is killing off penalties, and especially when you take them like that, it doesn't serve any purpose at all.
Leafs now trying to jam it up inside the Quebec blue line, but the Nordiques lose it again. Gavin nearly broke in. Daou is on the ice with him, causing some problems for the Nordiques and clearing it. Now Price is out of the box, and they have the man advantage. The Nordiques are leading 1-0. Now setting it up to Payma. On the power play, the Nordiques shoot it in. Hunter went after it. He was grabbed by Gavin. Gavin trying to get loose over there after Hunter. Hunter to the corner, centered it. Hunter again goes after it. He left it now for Goulet, and he got it back. Goulet from Moeller to Moeller again. That shot wide rebound, and Reagan covered up on Hunter. Daou went after him. The two players went to the ice. Puck is still loose, and the Nordiques have it. Back to Moeller. Screen shot, Moeller. That's deflected by Reagan. He didn't see where it was for a second. It was in behind him to the left. Now the Leafs shoot it down the ice with 45 seconds left in the penalty to Korn.
The Nordiques are working. They're really grinding it out in the corners, coming up with that puck, and the Nordiques are getting their shots from the point, but you notice how they're jamming the front of the net, getting in front of Reagan.
2.5 minutes left in the opening period. 1-0. The Nordiques lead. They had a shorthanded goal by Hunter. Now they're on a power play. Fuller, he missed the far corner by just a little bit. To the side of the net again. The Stastnys are in there now. Peter trying to set up Marion and just missed him, and the Leafs clear it down the ice. 12 seconds left in the Jim Korn penalty. Here comes Jackson to the side of the net. Jackson went after, back of the goal, finally lost it. Moeller took him out of the play, and the Nordiques racing to center. Peter Stastny, shot by Goulet, is grabbed by Reagan. He covered on the short side, but the Nordiques come close. Penalty is over. Leafs are at full strength again, and the Nordiques are leading 1-0 on the goal by Dale Hunter. It came while the Nordiques were shorthanded.
The Canada Savings Bond Payroll Savings Plan is the simplest way to save. Every pay, a small amount is automatically deducted. So what you don't see, you can't spend. All it takes is pennies a day to grow into a Canada Savings Bond that earns good interest on your interest. Time is limited, so sign up for the Payroll Savings Plan where you work today.
The right choice that proves itself year after year.
You wonder how many saves Reagan can continue to make, Bob, because the Nordiques continue to get those quality shots. You noticed how well they pass that puck and the way they can skate and the combination of passing and skating. That's why they've got 14 shots on the board.
5 on the ice again for Toronto to center with Carrion. Carrion off the boards with it. Carrion stopping. Wants some help. Gets it by Durango. Penalty coming up against the Nordiques. The Leafs in possession. Reagan on the bench. They got an extra man on, but right away they forced the play up along the boards. And it's called, but now the Nordiques will be penalized. And Marois goes off for slashing.
That was a good two-hander by Marois against Terrion, who had the puck along the boards. If you're going to do it, make sure there's no referee around, but Lewis was right there. There it comes.
2 minutes for slashing. Time 18:25. Mario Marois for slashing. Time 18:25.
There's the announcement on the penalty to Captain Marois of the Nordiques.
Well, one thing, Maloney's given Drelego's line every opportunity to break out of their slump. They're playing the power plays.
That's Drelego, Anderson, and Vive. And again, it's called face-off just outside the Quebec blue line.
You know, if these guys figured it was going to be easy this year, they had another thing coming, because when you score 50 goals and 40 goals and 27 goals, it's only natural that the opposing team is going to put some checkers against you. But Maloney was saying, hey, when it's close checking, that's the time I want to see what you guys are made of. Are you going to dig deep and grind it out and grit your teeth and go in there and fight and muck and score goals? That separates a good player from the great ones.
Good play by Moeller, finding the opening to clear it away, and down the ice, 1:44 left in the penalty to Marois. The Leafs down a goal. Nearly give it away here as they try to clear. Now they get to center. Courtnall is racing in with Anderson. Courtnall stops, looks back toward the line. Courtnall to Anderson, back of the goal. Now he gets it back to Iafrate. He has to give it to Anderson again. Coming in. Anderson gets set, fake the shot. Had to hook it off to the corner. Courtnall went after it. Now Vive is in there. To Courtnall, went by him. Iafrate, the defenseman, moves up. Cuts in front. Anderson didn't see it. And sloppy play by the Leafs inside the Quebec blue line, allowing the Nordiques to just trickle it out over the line. Now only 40 seconds left in the period. Leafs on a power play, haven't had a shot yet. Coming in, Courtnall. Courtnall with Anderson, he gave it away, and it's fired outside the line again. Now the Leafs are offside, and it's called.
Well, it's been very frustrating for Anderson and company, as they just haven't been able to generate the offense that you should be able to do at home. You know, 7 shots on net night, and out of those 7 shots, only a couple of real good scoring chances that they had against Gosselin. You know, sometimes there's a tendency when you're in a good scoring position, because you're not scoring, you want to pass off. When the shots are there, you really have to take them.
Let him go. Especially with a man advantage, you get somebody roaming loose for a rebound, or at least you should have. Only 20 seconds left in the period. The Nordiques get a break again. 2-on-1, McKechnie scoring! McKechnie with the second goal of the night for the Nordiques, and the second one while the Leafs were on a power play.
Well, another quick break and a 2-on-1. What makes this play possible then, once the Nordiques break away at 2-on-1, McKechnie is actually looking at Hunter. And I think everybody in the whole building thought he was going to pass it and just fired it. I really don't think that he was aiming to go through the 5-hole. But you notice defensively, the Leafs played it well. The defenseman was right in the middle, forcing the shot. Well, McKechnie did put it right through the legs of Riggett.
1946. When you score a goal this late in a period, to go up now 1, but 2,
that hurts. That hurts.
McKechnie, his third of the season. Another shorthanded goal for the Nordiques tonight. Hunter had the first one. 5 seconds left in the period now. And Root threw it away to center ice to Preacher, and behind in a check, and the horn goes to end the opening period. Gosselin, they failed to beat him. Riggett had played great hockey, but the Nordiques got in for 2 goals. As we say, both shorthanded efforts, and they're leading 2-0. Outshooting the Maple Leafs 15-7. So the score, Quebec 2, Toronto 0. Let's go to Dave Hodge, and this week in the NHL.
It's not a news item when Guy Lafleur scores 1 goal in a game, or when Darryl Sittler plays on a line with Tiger Williams. At least in years past, those would not have warranted headlines, but this week, that's exactly the case. 2 of the stories in the NHL that we'll cover coming up next on This Week in the NHL.
And now, from the Hockey Night in Canada Control Center, This Week in the NHL, featuring the play of the week, brought to you by Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time. Now, here's Dave Hodge.
9 days into this NHL season, the Edmonton Oilers have played the most games, 6, and they have the fewest losses, none. They have 11 points, and they've also got tangible evidence of last season's Stanley Cup championship. Wayne Gretzky and the other players receiving their Stanley Cup rings from owner Peter Pocklington. The Stanley Cup banner is raised high at the Northlands Coliseum. Guy Lafleur this week broke a long goalless drought as he scored in the Montreal Canadiens' victory over the Philadelphia Flyers on Monday night. The score was 3-0 Montreal when Lafleur broke down the left wing and eventually scored this goal. Statisticians disagree on exactly how many games he went without a goal. We think it was 28. Injuries contributing to some woe around the NHL early in the season. Ken Morrow has had knee surgery. He won't be back with the Islanders until February. Gordon Kluzak is thought to be finished for the season. They operated on his knee. Barry Peterson has a broken hand, making life miserable for the Bruins. He hurt it in a fight and won't be back until at least late next month. Bill Barber was operated on, major reconstruction of his knee last season, may miss this season. Gaetan Duchesne, another broken hand. That occurred in the Capitals' season opener. And Mark Pavelich fractured his right fibula, and he's out until the new year. This time last week, Darryl Sittler was officially a member of the Detroit Red Wings, but he had not yet reported to the Wings. Now they have him in uniform. They added a year to his contract. Here's his reason for his decision.
It's nice to be in Detroit. I had some time to think about it. The day of the trade, I was flabbergasted, I guess. I couldn't believe it happened, but after sitting down and planning sort of what the future for myself and my family was, we're happy to make the move here to Detroit. We really loved it in New Jersey. We had a beautiful home there, my wife and kids involved in the community, and we figured that that would probably be the place we would stay after we finished playing hockey. And it looked like this, you know, possibly could have been my last year in Philadelphia, maybe another year, and that I would have been staying there, but things didn't work out, and that's why I took some time to think about it before coming to Detroit. It had nothing to do with the organization or the team here or the fans of the city. It was just a matter of what I wanted to do with my life, whether I wanted to go on and do something else that was more stable or continue playing hockey, and I chose to be here.
In case you were wondering, with Sittler, Tiger, Williams, Brad Park, Ivan Bolderev, and others, the Red Wings do have the oldest team in the NHL. And now let's look at the Panasonic play of the week, and it comes from a 3-3 tie between the Los Angeles Kings and the Montreal Canadiens. Final minute of play, the Canadiens have their goaltender out. LA goalie Darren Elliott is out of the net, but he escapes that. Jay Wells' clearing pass, however, hits the referee, and the Canadiens get another chance. Elliott can't cover up the puck, and Guy Carbonneau scores the tying goal with 2 seconds remaining in the third period. Wells perhaps should have cleared it up the boards, and now Elliott does have a chance to smother it, but Bobby Smith gets it loose for Carbonneau. That's our play of the week.
The play of the week has been brought to you by Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time.
An extra element of excitement. That's the whole idea behind Panasonic Quintrix 2 television. Panasonic shows you what you've been missing.
The Darryl Sittler story was in Don's notebook in pencil last week, but we can complete the saga now. He is a Detroit Red Wing. What do you think happened in Philadelphia? He expected to be named captain. He heard he was traded.
Bobby Clark does not want another Bobby Clark. Bobby Clark, when he played, ran that club. The players were afraid of him, the owner was afraid of him, and the coach were afraid of him. And I foresee that the young players respected Sittler, and they were coming to him. And I think he was going to be the leader, and I think Bobby Clark, I mean, you just don't say in the afternoon you're going to be captain and then you're gone. And I think that's why he got rid of him.
If I get your point, it means that if you were a general manager, you would not want a Don Cherry as coach.
Well, not unless I wanted the fans out in all the building and winning. I don't know about that. No, I know what you mean. Like, I'm tough, and Bobby Clark, he saw a lot of himself in Sittler, and that's why he got rid of him.
Did you ever think you'd see the day when Guy Lafleur's scores would make headlines? 1 goal.
1 goal, and I'll tell you the reason why. I was over in Buffalo and saw Canadians play. He got on the ice 4 times in the first period. Scotty Bowman told me after when he played him, he'd played 28 minutes. He's not playing now. The 1 goal he got benched in the third period. I don't know why Jacques is treating him the way he is, but unless he plays, he's not gonna be anything at all. And let's face it, he was their leading goal scorer last year with 30.
Also under the heading of did you think you'd ever see the Wave at Maple Leaf Gardens? I mean, are they selling hula hoops in the concession booths too? The Wave finally comes to Maple Leaf Gardens?
Well, it means something. And believe me, I tell you, when you hear the crowd holler, no matter for what it is, you're happy. And, you know, I'm glad to see them cheering about something. We haven't had much to cheer about here lately.
It's no surprise that the Edmonton Oilers are the hottest team out of the gate. How much of that do you think relates to the fact that they now know how good they are? The Stanley Cup is proof of that. And so many of them are in good shape from the Canada Cup.
Well, there's supreme confidence now. I can only relate that to Boston. We won 19 out of 21 of our first. And what happens, you get snowballing. You go out, you know you're not going to lose, and if you lose, it's by accident. But, you know, you can pick up bad habits like that, and you have to watch it. It snowballs the other way. I remember we were the worst team for a month after that run.
What you're saying is that that if the bad habits start, Glenn Sather has trouble convincing them that they're not doing things right.
I remember we won 5 in a row, and I went in and tried to ream them out for playing bad, and guys were going, look at that. What's he talking about now? We won 6-2, and I was giving them heck. It's tough, but I'll tell you, he's got a kicker, though, that I didn't have. He's got Gretzky to pull him out.
That's the notebook for this week. Hockey Night in Canada returns in just a moment. Recap the first period scoring at the Montreal Forum for you. Steve Shutt with 2 goals and Mark Hunter the go-ahead goal for the Canadians. Brian Lawton and Dennis Marouk for Minnesota. They are just about to start the second period, as are we here. The Hartford Whalers lead Vancouver 1-0. Sylvain Turgeon for the Whalers, who enjoy the lofty heights of first place in the Adams division at the moment. And the Canucks don't enjoy much of anything after being pasted in Philadelphia 13-2. Mike Bossy has 3 goals. He has assists on the other 2. 5 points so far as the Islanders lead the Los Angeles Kings 5-3. In Washington, the Capitals with 2 goals from Bobby Gould and singles by Gary Sampson and Bob Carpenter lead the Rangers 4-1. That's in the second period of play. New Jersey is at St. Louis, and there is no score there as yet. Nothing on the scoreboard at Pittsburgh, and they've completed one period. Flyers and the Penguins, and in Detroit, Chicago and goals by Steve Ludzik and Denny Savard off to a 2-0 lead over the Red Wings, who've lost 4 of their 5 starts in the NHL this season. 2 shorthanded goals at Maple Leaf Gardens, both by the Nordiques. And let's join Bob Cole and Gary Dornhoff.
And David, both in the last 5 minutes of the period. Hunter is second of the season. Unassisted goal as he stole the puck near the Leaf line at 15:06. And then McKechnie got the second goal, again short-handed, capitalizing on a Leaf error. Moeller and Hunter assisted on that goal. It came at 19:46, 2-0. The score, Quebec out shooting Toronto 15-7 in the first period. This is the only visit to Maple Leaf Gardens this season for the Nordiques. Gary, Toronto will visit Quebec City twice next Friday and January 22nd.
Bob, you mentioned about getting scored on in the last minute of a period, and here again the Nordiques break out. Good puck control by McKechnie. Now defensively, the Leafs, you're supposed to play in the middle. Now there was a challenge. Now I don't know if that stick had anything to do with the puck going in the net or not, but the goal did go through the legs of Reggett, and I know a goaltender hates to be beat, you know, through that 5-hole. In any event, at one time the shots were 6-6, then the Nordiques went 11-1 throughout the last half of the game and can really control 3/4 of the first period.
Marois is in the penalty box for the Nordiques. He has 15 seconds to serve in that penalty. The Leafs have to be careful. They have given up 2 short-handed goals in the hockey game. And now, with just 3 seconds left in the penalty, Marois up and ready to come on. He is now on the ice. The Nordiques at full strength again. As the Leafs, Jim Benning got it in front by. Couldn't knock down that pass. It came off the stick of Anderson. Now Anderson chopped it in front. Vibe gets set. A rolling puck for Derlego, and he couldn't control it over the glass. It goes flying into the seats over there. And the Leafs have a couple of chances, but unable to control it for any good shot.
Well, offensively, Benning is off to a pretty good start for the Maple Leafs this year with 4 points. But he also has the highest goals against on the hockey club as a -5.
Dale Hunter, who scored the first goal for the Nordiques, at center against Courtnall of the Leafs. Gavin and Korn on the wings for the Maple Leafs. Goulet and Slager for the Nordiques. Down the ice it goes. This will be icing. Iafrate skating back quickly to touch it. And icing called against Quebec.
You know, Brophy, the assistant coach of the Leafs, he's watching that first period up from way up where we are, and I'm sure that after conversation with Maloney, a couple of things that he was looking at is, number one, the Nordiques are getting far too much skating room. You got to get in front of them, slow them down a little bit, and the Leafs are not able to penetrate that blue line, so it makes sense to shoot it in and have everybody going at top speed and try to do some decent forechecking.
Courtnall again and Hunter. Ron Finn, the linesman, dropping it in. And right away, Marois hopping back quickly to play it ahead on the left side for Goulet. Out the center it comes. Nyland is back there. A hard pass on the boards, right for the Nordiques again. The Leafs intercepting Gavin. Gavin rolled it across the blue line. Then Hunter again had a stick lifted by Jim Korn. Slager nearly got loose. Courtnall winding up near center. Has to go back. Tried to stick handle in himself. Nyland couldn't bring it in. Nyland again went after it, slapped up the puck, but Hunter was covering and got it back to Rochefort. Off to Marois. He bumped with Courtnall. Courtnall back on his feet again as he was knocked to the ice. Couldn't center it though. And the Nordiques had to quickly shoot it down the ice. They nearly got trapped. Root is coming back. He did not touch it in time. Goulet, a good play to Slager, who threw it through the goal crease. Root knocked his man down to the side of the net. Goulet. Hunter fell to his knees along with Jim Korn. Korn grabbing Hunter now. Puck in across the line offside. The Nordiques call back.
Well, we mentioned before, Bob, about John Brophy, assistant coach of the Maple Leafs, way up in the press box. There he is with the gray hair, along with general manager John McNamara. You were talking to him this morning and mentioned about the game in New Jersey. Was the game as bad in New Jersey as it was on TV? And he said it was worse. That was a bad effort by the Maple Leafs in last night's hockey game.
Price, Pat Price, number 7, with Moeller. Peter Stastny missed the pass, but Anton is in. Good save, rebound, kicked out. Reagan making 2 stops. Puck cleared out to center ice again. Firing it in, the Nordiques, Moeller. Reagan being tested early again here in the second period. Price stopped it at the blue line. The Leafs now pick it up. Iafrate to center ice with Preacher. Preacher going in, but on the left wing, Therion was away offside, and the play is called. 2-0 Quebec on 2 shorthanded goals in the first period. Hunter and McKechnie.
About a lot of times a rookie mistake is going to be overhandling the puck, and that is a tendency when you first come up in the league, instead of just throwing it up to the winger. And when that happens, you know, you're a little vulnerable. But that time Iafrate just tried to get it up. It was intercepted, and a good scoring chance again by the Nordiques. Stastny was on the shooting end of that shot.
Another long shot as the Nordiques bring it right in. Moeller had a good drive from that point area. There's another shot by Moeller. Comes right back in front, and the Leafs bring it out. Inachak up the center with Therion going in. That is Inachak with the brakes on, throwing snow high. Got it along the blue line with the Nordiques. 3 of them come back out. Marion Stastny with Moeller, the defenseman, and here's Anton trying to set up Peter. Couldn't quite do it. Price will start it again. Now a neat play into Anton. In with Marion, and went behind Peter as Marion was cutting in behind the play. Leafs going down as Preacher with Inachak. Leafs trying to make changes now as Preacher gets his shot away. That missed the net by a foot or 2 and bounces all the way off the boards to center. Now Anderson. Nice play ahead. At the blue line, 5 shot away wide. He was tied up, tried to hit that far corner. Nordiques get it across the line. 5 cruising back in. He was bumped by Rochefort. Now Savard with Anderson in tow. On the boards, it's cleared to center ice as they hit the 4-minute mark of the second period. The Leafs are way offside. Anderson, a good 4 or 5 feet inside the line from Toronto. This is Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Well, all set for a hot night in the town, kid?
Yes, now that I've had that rather nasty tear in my seat repaired.
Standard auto glass?
Who else can offer such friendly service? And they'll replace upholstery or install a sunroof in no time.
Looks good, kid.
Yes, Standard guarantees at every single job, in writing.
Hey, what more could you ask for?
Well, you could fix me up with a nice little European model.
Too fast for you, kid.
Very funny.
Bob Cole and Gary Dornhofer at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. The Nordiques leading the Maple Leafs 2-0 at the 3:58 mark of the second period. Dave Hodge watching the game at the Forum, 3-2 there. The Canadians, we'll have all the highlights for you on Hockey Night in Canada update. Gary, the Leafs look like they're struggling a game tonight.
Are they ever? You know, talk about a grinding hockey player. You're looking at him, Wilf Paymont. At one time played for the Leafs, but way back when Kansas City was in the league, he was the first-round pick. That was in '74. Wilf now in his 11th year in the National League.
Savard nearly stole it from Root. Derlego is bumped by Paymont. And here's 5 from the corner in back of the net. The pass is skipped by John Anderson. And the Nordiques clear it to the line, out. Knocked down by Nyland. Weak shot stopped by Gosselin. Nordiques try to shoot it out across the line. They do. Down the ice it goes. And Root is back. McKechnie, who has scored one of the goals for the Nordiques. Watching him. It's played up the center. The Leafs hand it away to Marois. Marois ahead to McKechnie, and he is stopped by Bill Root. Again, McKechnie couldn't knock it out of the air. High pass. 5 missed it. Nordiques shoot it in again. Play a little scrappy now here at the 4:49 mark of the second period. The Nordiques still leading. It's 2-0.
Indianapolis, where the gladiators of the automotive world do battle. Where one competitor has consistently dominated the Indy 500, a tire born of advanced design and innovative technology. The only tire qualified to race. For the past 10 years, the only tire that every car in the Indy 500 ran on.
Maple Leafs losing 3 in a row, and here tonight against the Quebec Nordiques, looking lethargic to say the least. They're down 2-0.
When we were in a situation like that in Philadelphia many years ago, we used to send Bob Kelly out on the ice. He'd get things stirred up. I think that's what. Yeah, we could give him the skates and get out there. But the Leafs are looking for somebody to give them a lift, whether it's a good hit or an end-to-end rush. But first of all, Bob, you have to have more shots on net. 8 shots, that isn't going to win you many hockey games. Generate some kind of offense, and the way you do that is you outwork the guy you're playing against and come up with that puck once in a while.
At the same time, we have to give some credit to the Nordiques. They're playing well inside their own blue line. They're covering rather well, like this, and clearing it well. Hunter down to Goulet. Goulet across the line, trailing the play. The Nordiques shove it off to the corner, and Korn is there. And here is the penalty against the Maple Leafs. This is Hockey Night in Canada from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
Ahoy! Welcome to the Acme Brewery. Great to have you aboard. They say you spent 5 years with Molson Golden, but you learned a lot, huh?
Oh, yes, sir.
Like how they make the Golden so darn smooth.
Well...
if we had the secret, we could make our beer just as smooth. Tell me, boy, how did they do it?
I'm sorry, sir, I don't know.
You're fired.
How do they make Molson Golden so smooth? Good question.
I hate them. I hate them.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs continue to be victimized with the bad penalties. You saw Korn come from behind. He was a little late, so you hook the guy, and you spend 2 minutes in the penalty box.
He's there now, and the Nordiques up 2 goals on the power play. But Stastny's whipping around to Paymon. Reggett kicked one out. He'll have to kick this one out, too. Anton Stastny still has it. Hunter in the corner. Goulet to the side of the net to the corner. Back to the line, Anton Stastny faking the shot. Played it over here. Bell takes his time to Anton, and it's knocked away by Daoud. Gosselin out of the net to clear a pass ahead to Hunter. Hunter's play goes into the line. Goulet couldn't trap it. Nyland is back first. Nyland around the net into the corner with Bill Root. 2 players, along with Hunter, hold it on the boards, and they get a whistle. And the Nordiques again whipping the puck around inside the Maple Leaf blue line outside the box. Anton, I thought, would take a shot a couple of times. He did not.
I think Dan Maloney, the way he's working at that gum, wishes he had a pair of skates just to knock a few bodies around out there and get things stirred up. Bergeron, on the other hand, has to be satisfied the way his hockey club is playing. A lot of discipline. They're doing the job with the blue line, Bob, and we talk about it, coaches talk about it. That is the key to any victory. Do not allow that penetration.
Marois now slapped at it, and Peter Stastny, cruising in front of Reggett, tried to tip it. He did, in fact, but he got it up instead of down.
Now, last year, Marois, what a year he had on defense. He was a plus 51. So that means, folks, that he's on the ice for a lot of his team's scoring.
Bill Stewart not playing tonight for Toronto. He has a shoulder injury. Walt Podubny, who just got over one injury, a groin pull, now has a knee injury. He tells me he'll be back Wednesday, he hopes. Anyway, to be back Wednesday against Detroit here. Boreas Salming will be out for a week to 10 days with an eye infection. Marion Stastny on the boards. From the corner, back to Anton. Anton to Marion. Marion to Peter. Peter in front, try to jam it in. Scramble for it, gets back to the line again. Anton is shot. That went off the leg. Marion chopped it into Peter. But Stastny's owned this portion of the second period now on the power play for the Nordiques. Anton over here to Marois. Marois to Peter. He couldn't jam it up the net. Peter from the corner. Anton again. Back here to Marois. A pass into the side to Goulet. He's centered in. The Leafs get a chance to clear it out. Will they? Yes, they get it up to center. Therion. 30 seconds left in the Jim Korn penalty. Now the Nordiques losing it. Therion fell to the ice. Anton Stastny coming in with Peter. Peter takes the shot. Reggett Blackman, he'll hang on to it with the help of Greg Therion. A good penalty killing role for Therion here on the ship.
Reggett again is coming up with the key saves. The Nordiques continue to pepper him at 20 shots. Anton Stastny, a 4th-round pick in '79. This is his 5th year in the National Hockey League. His point total dropped drastically last year from the year before. Only 62 points last season, and I'm sure the Nordiques hope that he captures that scoring touch again. But that line, do they ever move the puck around, Bob? You know, you create scoring chances by getting into the opening and finding that head man. And when you're familiar with the guys you're playing with, you work together in practice, it becomes so natural.
Moeller's shot was deflected, and Reagan had to cover in a hurry. Nearly found the open corner. That's Wilt Payma from the corner, fired it in front off McGill, and Derlego chopped it to center. Now Korn is back on the ice. Penalty over. 2-0 Quebec. Here come the Nordiques again. McGill going back to the net to get away from Payma, but Moeller eyeing the play developed, just came in from the line and chopped it back to the goal. In goes McKechnie. He and Preacher fight for it. It comes out front and grabbed by Inachak. Inachak to Preacher to center ice with Korn. Korn trying to go in himself, but was stopped at the Quebec blue line. They played 7.5 minutes of the second period. 2-0 Quebec, both goals, while Quebec was shorthanded. One by Hunter, the other by McKechnie in the final 5 minutes of the opening period. McKechnie stick handling through at center ice now, picking a hole, going right in. Weak backhander though, and Reggett, the skate save. Nice play by McKechnie. Hunter's shot stopped by Reggett. A little pushing and shoving, and when you wanted something to happen, now you have it. I'm not sure if this is exactly what you wanted to see if you're a Maple Leaf fan, but they got it going now as the Leafs recovering in their own zone. There'll be more penalties here. McGill is going. So is Paul Gillis.
I've got those diamond vision blues, all those great colors and those hues. From your head down to your shoes, get those diamond vision blues.
Mitsubishi's blue faceplate gives Diamond Vision remarkable color and clarity. If you want the blues, buy an ordinary color TV. But only Mitsubishi gives you the Diamond Vision Blues.
Those ever-loving Mitsubishi diamond vision blues, yeah.
Well, let's keep an eye in front of the net as Reggett makes a save, and you see the Gillis and McGill come together. Well, they dropped their sticks, and a few punches were landed. In any event, they both get 2-minute roughing penalty, so both teams will play 5-a-side.
2-0 Quebec, and the quiet crowd in Maple Leaf Gardens. They're trying now to get the wave going and see if that will get the team moving, because the Nordiques have owned it pretty well. 2 shorthanded goals, but that belies the fact they've outshot the Quebec Nordiques have outshot the Maple Leafs 23-8, and Reggett has had to make, I don't know, Gary, I suppose we'd say conservatively 5 real good stops.
I think the Nordiques have 5 good ones and another 6 or 7 close-in chances too. He's been busy. His chances have been of the good scoring variety against them, and you know, you can't continue to do that. I'm still surprised, Bob, that the Leafs haven't changed their plan and start dumping it in. They continue to try to carry it in, and the skating room isn't there.
Preacher starting up to the line, dropping it there. Benning shot, picked out by Gosselin. Iafrate has to hustle back now with Peter Stastny coming in. Reggett tipped it away. A nice move by the goaltender. And Stastny was in fast. Now Iafrate fooling Stastny, spinning around to go the other way, and then a neat play up through the middle. Preacher and Inachak. Inachak cutting in, dropping it to Preacher. Into Inachak. Now he sees it. Inachak trying to get loose from Price, but he can't do it, and they hold it on the board. Price tying up Inachak and holding the puck with his skate.
All right, people, this is your time to make some noise and get things going here.
I think that's the area where they're trying to start. There they
all right,
down the other end. No, they do not want to go. We'll get it going in a minute. Got to get something going here. Minute left in the penalties to Gillis and McGill. They're going the other way. I think they got her going the other way at Maple Leaf Gardens. got the wave going. Let's see what the Leafs can do about it now. They're down a pair of goals. Here's a shot. Gosselin down. And Five came close. Leafs have the pressure on now. Back to Root. Root into Courtnall. Knocked off the puck. Five. Watch it. Missed the far side. Nyland, look where it is. In his skates, he didn't see it. They're 5 aside with 30 seconds left in the penalties. Courtnall coming in. Courtnall, good play. Back to Root. Shot. Missed the net again. Hunter hopping over there. Getting out. Goulet is loose. He has it right in. Score! One of the sharpshooters on the Quebec Nordiques. Goulet, their leading goal scorer. I think that number 5 on the season. It's 3-0. Quebec.
Those that don't believe that a good pass can put you home free, right on the stick, perfect. And Goulet, who knows how to put the puck in the net. Last year, 56 goals, first All-Star team. That is just a perfect pass by Hunter, and he just turns Riggett inside out and uses the backhand to put in the Nordiques' 3rd goal. One thing about Goulet, he can do a lot of things when he's in on top of the goaltender, shoot, deke, and he showed an example of his shift there and made it look easy.
Well, the Leafs had the pressure on for a few seconds, as they're trying to do now, as Iafrate goes in and centers it. And here's Anderson firing the shot and hit a leg and bounced away. Nobody was watching Goulet. He got up behind everybody at center ice. That's a chancy thing to do, but he did it. Here's Gillis. Right in front again. And the Nordiques nearly make it 4-0. Now they drop the gloves. Gillis and McGill, who served roughing Miners a minute or so ago, they're just back on the ice, and they want to go at it. I'm sure they'll get more than Miners this time.
I think the Leafs need goals more so than they need fights.
Paul Gillis and Bob McGill, each one off for roughing, served the penalties, came back on the ice, and they go right at it again. And now they're going for majors.
Ah, fish, delicious and nutritious. And one of my favorites is fillets Creole. Take any 1 pound or individually wrapped pack of Highliner frozen fillets. Bake it frozen to keep in its natural juices. Do not thaw. Butter up and cover with seasoned tomato sauce. After baking for 30 minutes at 450 degrees, sprinkle with some mozzarella, pop back in the oven until melted. Great tasting, great for you. The best of the sea from Highliner.
There's the sharpshooter, Michel Goulet. Gary, how does one get in behind everybody when you're 4-on-4, and I'm speaking about skaters? He just neglected everything in his own end and went right across center ice.
Well, once Goulet is just slowly moving down the ice, as soon as he sees his defenseman or a forward pick up the puck, immediately he'll break for an opening. Now, the puck carrier can see that, and if he puts a good pass on his stick, you know he's home free. Look at some of the stats of Goulet last year. 121 points, 3rd in the league, plus 62. 16 game-winning goals. That was the best. 9-game scoring streak.
Reagan again busy kicking one out.
He can do it. He can do it all.
He's got a great shot, and he rarely makes many mistakes when he moves in close. As you said, 1-on-1. He made a beautiful move on Reagan. 3-0 Quebec. And Reagan has been sharp. If you've just joined us, believe it or not, he's been a standout. 25-10. The shots on goal to this point. The Nordiques out front, 3-0 on the strength of that offensive drive. Nordiques go back. They'll be called offside if they move it back a little further. If they don't, they get it outside and down the ice. At least the Leafs would have been called offside, but the play continued on. Now Toronto shoots it down the ice. This is going to be icing. Price is back. 9 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in the second period. And now Dave Hodge for Hockey Night in Canada update.
Midway through the second period at the Forum, the Canadians have opened up a 2-goal advantage over the North Stars, and talk about flooding the front of the net. 3 Canadians with a chance at it. 1 shot, Carbonneau whacks at it, and it's going to be Chris Nyland out of the air, just reaching his stick into the crease, which is of course very legal. 4-2 Canadians over Minnesota.
We'll continue to watch that one. It's closer than this. 3-0. The Quebec Nordiques on top of the Maple Leafs. Gavin for Toronto. With Dow, now Reagan has to race out again. A loose puck rolling in front, and right there was Marion Stastny, and he nearly had it. But Reagan elected to come out, and he made a good move, as it turned out. There's Peter Stastny. Anton is the other one out there.
Well, the Leafs, or the Nordiques, have done it without the big line doing any scoring.
Price now from the blue line. That shot deflected high, bounces right down to Reagan. He had his eye on it all the while.
Well, member of the winning Canada Cup. You know, Bob, 5th year in the league. Look at these stats. 109 points, 139 points, 124 points, 119. He is a key to that hockey club.
Nyland got it ahead to Jim Korn. They're out there with Gavin. Gavin racing in, but didn't get there quickly enough. Korn has though. Korn took the shot. Stopped by Gosselin. Dribbled on the goal line. Gosselin knocked it away. Price will shoot it off the boards to center. And now the Stastnys go to work again. Anton went in, but Peter, not often you see that. Anton made the move just before hitting the line, and Peter did not read it quickly enough, and he was in ahead of him, but not by much.
Not by much. Well, Peter's strength certainly is his puck carrying, and it's very difficult to knock off the puck. Gosselin, he just hasn't had many shots on net tonight, maybe 3 or 4 of the difficult variety, and of course Gosselin only played in 3 games for the Nordiques last year with a 1.21 average, so he's built up points trying to make it as the number 2 goaltender.
Rochefort and Marois, the defense pairing for Quebec. Nyland and Lehman for the Toronto Maple Leafs. 3-0 is the score. The Nordiques shutting out the Maple Leafs up to this point, and they've now played 12 minutes of the second period. Anton Stastny again with Peter to Anton. He can't reach it. Nyland is there to give it to Korn. He and Daou along with Gavin coming in. Korn got away from that, check by Marois. Slapped it over in front. Shot by Lehman. Knocked down. Lehman in after the rebound. Lehman went on stride. He and Anton Stastny bumped together. Peter going in to help. So was Marois. And the referee standing there, Brian Lewis, says that's it. The puck was on the boards long enough, and he called it.
Gary Lehman really let a good blast go there, and again, Gosselin made an exceptional save. But Lehman saw service last year with the Leafs, both as a forward and as a defenseman. Really wasn't put into that many difficult situations, so you would lose your confidence. He was a very confident fellow this year in training camp and looks forward to playing regularly with the Leafs.
Carry on, Preacher, and in a check. They get the draw, in a check racing for it. It's tapped away from him by Bruce Bell, number 6. Preacher through center, stopped by Paiement. Paiement coming back in, dropping it. Savard is covered. Paiement didn't see the pass. It was in behind him. McKechnie knocked it down. McKechnie has one of the goals tonight. Scored shorthanded in the opening period, as did Hunter. Goulet scored for Quebec here in the second. 3-0, the Nordiques.
They certainly don't look like a 2-3 hockey club, do they, Bob?
No.
They're solid. They play very well, very disciplined. You notice that the Leafs haven't had time to maneuver at all, or getting that skating room, which is so necessary to set up plays. Immediately somebody's on top of you and causing those turnovers.
Well, this is their 6th game of the season, Gary, and as Michel Bergeron was saying to me before the game, well, we're just anxious to get home. This is their 5th game on the road. They'll be home for a game against the Canadians on Tuesday night. Canadians tonight, of course, are at home against Minnesota. That's our update game. And Dave Hodge will have the highlights of that for you. 3-0 here. 6:50 to play in the second period. The Leafs unable to score on Mario Gosselin, the 21-year-old from Thetford Mines, Quebec. Not a big goalie, 5'9", 160. A lot of the goalies coming in today are of that type. Not big, some, of course, like Reagan. He's up there, but look at Bester. And now look at Gosselin.
Now there's a veteran of the National Hockey League, his 11th year now playing in the league. His best was 31 goals in the 80-81 season. Last year in 60 games, only able to register 20 goals. But he can be used as a penalty killer. He's very efficient in that respect.
Hunter, Goulet to the left, Slager to the right. So this line accounting for 2 goals tonight. Hunter has 1, Goulet the other. Goulet went after it, stopped by Korn. Rochefort gets it back. Long pass by Bell to Hunter was good. Hunter going in. He's always dangerous, but coming out is Daoud for Toronto. Takes a look to the right side. In goes Gavin. Gavin after Hunter now. Gavin took Hunter in on the boards and knocked him down. But Goulet again racing in. Long shot. Reggett with a blocker save. It's off to the side on the glass. Back down on the ice, and it's Slager grabbing it. He was knocked down by Jim Benning. Korn back out. Korn shaking off one check. Shoots it in for Toronto with 6 minutes to play in the period. The Leafs making changes. Daoud didn't see it. Rochefort left it for Hunter. Lost his helmet. Carries on to whip it off the boards. Outside the line is Slager. He is stopped, and it's called back inside the Quebec line. From Toronto, this is Hockey Night in Canada.
Oktoberfest, the beer that Molson brews and bottles only for this season, with a surprisingly lighter European taste at regular prices. It's time for Molson Oktoberfest beer. Welcome to Molson Oktoberfest 84.
Bob Cole and Gary Dornhofer in Toronto. Mickey Redmond is in Montreal with Dick Irvin, and we'll be joining them in our second intermission to see some of that game. The North Stars are in there, and at the moment trailing the Canadians 4-2. Here it's 3-0 Quebec. They're in again, and Reagan has to juggle this one and hang on.
Well, Dan Maloney has broken up the Derlago-Anderson-Vibe line. He's now moved Vibe along with the rookie Jackson and Courtnall. You got to do something to get things going, and see, when you're not getting any scoring chance, not getting any shots on net, what good is it to have a line that continues to struggle?
Stastny's with a draw, getting it back. Anton getting in the slot area. It's poked away. Moeller's shot hit a skate. Anton in and Reagan miraculously reaching up as he was going down. I don't know how he saw that one, but Anton Stastny had the big net open.
Bob, the Stastnys have not scored a goal, but they certainly have had numerous scoring chances. You know, the way they move that puck, and a good scorer always gets himself in good scoring position with his stick along the ice. Here it comes. He doesn't wait to go to his forehand, which a lot of players will do. He uses the backhand, just didn't get it up over the sprawling Reggett.
Which is what a lot of players do on the backhand. It's difficult with that curved stick to get it up. I suppose that's the trouble.
Remember the first game, Bob, we were talking how many times the guy was on his backhand and he would switch to his forehand.
Here's Anton again in front. Peter scores! Bullock shot. No goaltender will stop that. In the slot, all alone, nobody watching him, and he just didn't waste a second. Just let her go. Watch it.
Well, you analyzed that perfectly, Bob. You're going to watch Peter get himself free from his check. He'll just move. Now, well, look where that stick is. It was on the ice and timed the puck perfectly and let it fly. And as you said, there isn't any goalie going to make that save. It's right on the corner.
And number 7, Pat Price, time 14:37. Peter Stastny from Anton Stastny and Pat Price, time 14:37.
14:37, the time of the goal. Peter Stastny.
See, at one time, Peter was covered. Right there, just inside the blue line. And it was Mirko Freacher that was with him, made the loop, skated away from him, and that's all Stastny's looking for, is to get himself in the clear. And he got himself in perfect position. Didn't waste any time releasing that shot.
15 feet in front of Reagan.
Help.
What does one do?
Face off at center ice.
4-0 now, the Nordiques. 5:11 to play in the second period. Marois back to the net. Look at that pass through the middle. McKegney is going now. McKegney and Savard are in. There's McKegney. Reagan had to juggle that. It comes loose. He couldn't hang on to it, but he made a great save as McKegney went right in. And well, surprise. I think everybody was surprised, more especially Mario Gosselin. As Anderson, he had 2 people with him, but he said, nope, I'm going to shoot it.
Watch this play here. Iafrate goes for the fake, and Reggett makes the good save. The Leafs turn it around immediately and come up ice. Anderson, length to length, crosses over the center ice. Now, when you're in a slump, Bob, you want to shoot that puck and let it go. I think that one caught Gosselin by surprise and just overpowered him. So the fans finally have something to cheer about.
15-10, the time of the goal. Reggett, the goaltender, got an assist. Nordiques are back. Another quick shot is just wide by Savard. 4-1 now as the Leafs get that goal by Anderson. Savard again cutting in front, scored! Savard appeared to be covered, but he somehow got one hand free, and Reggett decided to come out, and the puck stayed along the ice. 4-goal lead back again.
Well, the ability to bounce off a check. Benning had him, or did he have him? No, he didn't. Didn't have good control, and with one hand on his stick, he was able to shovel that puck by Reggett. But you notice that Reggett also came out trying to get a hold of that puck and wasn't in any position to make the save.
It looked harmless as far as Jim Benning was concerned, but not quite so harmless. He allowed him to get loose. One-handed it in. Puck back inside in front of Gosselin. The Nordiques are back, declared quickly. 5-1 now. Quebec with a 4-goal lead back again. Just as Anderson had scored for Toronto. Now back for Savard. And that's his first goal of the season. McKegney got an assist.
So both Anderson and Savard get their first goals of the year. And yes, Dan, it gets frustrating, the life of a head coach, and here we go again.
Horn on the outside of this is throwing one punch in. Now we're going to have a brawl, I believe, with the players in close. Vibe was number 1 in there for the Maple Leafs. And now Jim Corn gets involved. And Sliger. You remember Sliger in the playoffs against Canadians last year with a knockout punch in that last game against the Canadians, in which everybody was into it.
Well, the game is very frustrating as far as the Maple Leafs are concerned. They're trying to get things going, but a fight.
I believe Price has been injured.
Yes, he has. We see the blood on the ice.
He's cut about the face, as you can see, and a lot of blood flowing. Vive is off in the penalty box. Slager, I think, will be going. We'll wait. Brian Lewis, the referee, and he'll sort it out. But there will be major penalties, no doubt. Islanders leading LA 8-3, and Bossy has 4 goals tonight.
In times of indecision like these, it's always best to see what the professionals use. Professionals have been using mono brand caulking for over 20 years. If it's good enough for professionals, mono will do the job for you. So when the day comes, and it will, when you need to buy caulking, buy mono, the professional choice.
In the second intermission, Don Cherry will discuss the new Leafs. We discussed them last week when they were unbeaten, and we're going to discuss them in slightly different terms now, it would appear. And we will take you to Montreal and show you what's happening between the North Stars and the Canadians, and bring you up to date on Mike Bossy's big night on Long Island and other scores. Stay with us for the second intermission.
They're just announcing the penalties now.
For Toronto, Rick Vive, 5 minutes fighting. Jim Corn, 2 minutes roughing, a game misconduct. Time 16:02.
Jim Corn, as I suspected, was the third man in. And for that, a game misconduct. 5 a major. And it's 5-1 Quebec. These are the only penalties we've heard announced so far. Vive a major. Price, of course, will get a major. He was in on the fighting.
So when all is said and done, the Leafs will play a man short.
On the minor to Corn. Hunter, a shorthanded goal. McKegney, a shorthanded goal in the first period. Goulet, Peter Stastny, and Savard here in the second. Anderson scored for the Maple Leafs.
Danny's a little upset with the call as he's yelling some things over to referee Brian Lewis. Doesn't agree with that 2-minute minor to Korn.
Peter Stastny on the ice again with Goulet and Anton Stastny. This is Anton. Anton across the line, got it back to Goulet. Goulet, a soft pass that Daou swung at and knocked down the ice. Gavin is out there with him. 3.5 minutes to play in the second period, and the Nordiques are up on the Maple Leafs by 4 goals. Daou nearly stole it. He was off balance, could not continue on. Marois goes in behind the net. Bell is with him in the corner. Bruce Bell, number 6, for the pass out to Peter, and Anton Stastny back to Peter. Coming in, Peter dropped it beautifully in front, and Goulet elected to pass it again. Anton Stastny back to Bell, shot, ripped wide, rebound, break it down. Got a piece of it, Nyland. Hooked it off to the corner. Anton got it back. Bell up the line to Marois. Marois fired it over at the rim of the circle. Was Goulet back to Anton Stastny to Bell again. Shot kicked out by Regan. Anton Stastny gets set to play it back on this power play for the Nordiques, looking for another goal. They're up by 4 now. Bell takes his time. Stastny, Anton, to Goulet to Bell. Shot, score! Bruce Bell firing a low shot, and it was a dandy, but you could see they're almost trying to set him up, and only him. And Bell gets his first goal.
That's textbook power play. You want to put that in a bottle and bring it out when you're in a desperate situation. They just keep moving around, but again, when you have the time, the Leafs really not are challenging. See, they're kind of setting back. Well, we'll go halfway and then we'll go at them. You have to be very deliberate in your penalty killing and go after somebody and try to cause that turnover. When you have the time, the way the Nordiques had it, and it's just a matter of time before the puck's in your net. A good low shot by the rookie Bell.
17:28, the time of Bell's first goal in the National League. And it's 6-1 Quebec.
They must have made 8 or 9 passes before that puck finally went in the net. Just finding that open man, throwing it around until they got the Leafs out of position.
And all beautiful passes. The Nordiques on a power play. Dynamite. 2 minutes left in the period. And they're up by 5 goals, and coming again as Moeller tests Regan from a fair distance. Regan covered the angle. 34-14 are the shots on goal.
Yes, Michelle, you've got a pretty good hockey club there. And an example of it is the way they move in the power play. You notice all the time that Bell had. He moved into the center ice, fired the shot from the top of the circle. If it didn't go in, the Nordiques had a couple players surrounding the net for the possible rebound.
And the 2 assists on the goal by Bell, Goulet, and Anton Stastny. 2 minutes remaining in the period. The Nordiques overpowering the Maple Leafs. Slager's shot kicked up by Regan. Slager hops on the rebound. Waits for a moment. Bending all over him. Slager in the corner. Now they pile in on the boards. 4 players fighting for it. Anderson lost his stick. Slager gets a pass back near the line. It was tipped out over the line to center ice by Jackson. McGill hopping back there for Toronto. Picking it up. And it's called icing against Quebec. They'll bring it all the way down to the Quebec zone, and it has not been down there for a little while.
Well, we know that Guy Lapointe has now joined the coaching staff of the Nordiques, and I didn't see him behind the bench in the first period, but he's certainly there now. And what an addition he's going to be to that hockey club. Guy Lapointe, the former Montreal Canadian, 6 Stanley Cups. So we look at Bob McGill, who's had a couple of bouts with the rookie Gillis.
Ever catch up to him when you were playing Montreal?
There he is. 884 games in his career.
You never did answer me. Did you catch up to him?
Throw that one at me again, Bob.
Did you ever catch up to him? Did you ever?
I tried to hit him for 11 years and never did get him. He made me look silly a lot of times.
One of the better skaters in the National Hockey League. from his blue line position, Guy Lapointe, and what a shot on the power play. Talking about power plays. Now the Nordiques again. Hunter is ahead of the play and couldn't get the pass. A little too far for him. Slager, the empty net. Reggett got back in time. Nyland was there to whip it high and down the ice. I think icing will be called. Yep. Linesman Ron Finn with the arm up, calling it back. Icing against Toronto, and only 53 seconds to play in the period.
I must say, Bob, the reason that I wanted to put Guy Lapointe on the seat of his pants because he was so good. Could never get him, you know, when you're in there forechecking. He'd be a stride away from him, and he'd make one of these dipsy-do turns, and all he'd do is hit the glass. But 14 years as a player, 622 points, once first All-Star team, 3 times second. Credit to the league.
Leafs try to do something before the period is out. Courtnall going in. Courtnall couldn't hang on to it long enough for a shot. Here comes Lehman. Lehman turning. Banned on it. It was poked away, actually, by Marois. 35 seconds to play. Anton Stastny. Peter with him. Reggett made the big save on Anton Stastny. And Peter just was left and back a stride or two. Was there in case there happened to be a rebound.
You know, Bob, the guy that made that play possible was a rookie, Bell, and he waited until he crossed his own blue line to put the pass ahead. You saw it on the backhand, too. Just what we were talking about. He used the backhand to set up Stastny. Anton in one-on-one, and Reggett makes the save. He has been busy. He's been overworked tonight. That was a 36th shot that has been directed at the Leafs net.
So he has stopped 30 at 6-1 with 30 seconds to play in the second period. Puck comes back in front of the Leaf net again, and Gavin tapped it there at the blue line. Root played it ahead. Brubaker looking around. They bump inside the line. Linesman here rather quickly with just 15 seconds left in the period. They don't want something to start, but maybe it's too late. Moeller and Brubaker squaring off. Brubaker coming with that reputation, and Moeller throwing the right hand at him now.
He's obliging him, isn't he?
They're standing back, letting him go. And Lewis, the referee, is just standing back there, and the 2 linesmen ready to jump in. They might go in now. 15 seconds left in the period when this breaks out. And now the linesmen are in. Look at the players out of the blue line standing back. Ringside seats. Here they are. Well, what happened there?
Well, they're both going to get penalties, that's for sure. You want me to pick a winner? I'm not a judge of the fight card, Bob. I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't really asking you to pick a winner. I was asking with 15 seconds left in the period. I suppose it never occurs to a hockey player in the heat of the action, this period is over. Why waste the effort? Maybe there's something else to it.
I think with the Leafs, it's just a case of frustration. They're up against a very good hockey club. I mean, the Nordiques have shown their class. Everything they have done tonight has been to perfection. They pass the puck so well right on their stick, get in the openings, and they're toying with the Leafs tonight. Simple as that. And so when that happens, you know, you get frustrated out there. And how do you take out your frustrations? In a fight.
Well, they each got 5 minutes for fighting, and you want to know who won it? I'll tell you who won it. The Leafs, because Brubaker goes off. He has not been used very much tonight, and Moeller, a solid defenseman for the Nordiques, has gone on a major penalty. There's a shot that Gosselin had to be careful with 3 seconds left on the clock. So they'll just throw it into the right of Gosselin. That'll be it here in the second period. And the Nordiques, a powerhouse against the Maple Leafs here in this second period. Beautiful passing plays. Kegney going to the bench.
He was a former Buffalo Sabre, actually a second-round pick in '78. 7th year in the National Hockey League, and this is his 2nd year with the Quebec Nordiques.
They're out of position.
Got a nice goal before, Bob, right through the 5-hole.
He did that. It was a shorthanded goal. The horn goes as they drop to the ice on this one. So that's the end of the second period, and I believe it's a time that Dan Maloney and the Maple Leafs will be happy to see. The end of that period, because, brother, that was trouble, and all of it caused by the smooth passing, fine skating Quebec Nordiques. So the score at the end of the second period, 6-1 Quebec.
It's time for an old sports adage. A wise man once told me, a new coach can be a reason to expect improvement, but if he is the only reason, don't expect much. Are there any other reasons for the Leafs to be better this year?
Well, I remember they tried that in Colorado, and it didn't work either. If you just have a coach come in, he's going to be tough, going to be tough. You don't have the guys that are to play tough, then you can't play tough. We have one thankful thing here in Toronto, that Detroit is worse right now in the division they're in.
By 2 points at the moment.
Yeah.
Those old guys got to get the creaks out of their legs, and they might get better.
Well, no, let me just continue. I remember we were at Boston. This is my second year, and we were getting hammered like this, and we were playing just as bad. Harry Sinnen and I sat down, and we said, we've got to do something. Either we trade somebody or we're gone. And I'm telling you right now, they better get some guys and make a blockbuster trade, because the feeling now is the same feeling as they had last year. I know I don't want to jump on them, but I feel so bad for Danny. But you better get something with these new guys in here. Get somebody else and trade something big.
Is he disillusioned now? I mean, did he think that going in with a reputation and saying you must work or you'll be gone would work? Or
Danny is the type of guy that would go through the wall for you. Anything. He would try his end, and he is disillusioned right now. I know he's taking this personally, that he's not doing it.
Jerry McNamara is the man who must make trades. Now, if you're Dan Maloney, can you go to Jerry McNamara and say, please do something to help me out? That's what you do?
Yeah.
What if nothing happens? Then what do you do as the coach?
Well, and if you don't do the coach, the same thing will happen to you as it happened to me in Colorado. You get fired at the end. If the team doesn't produce, you're the guy that takes it in the neck. And I don't know. I think the kids are working as hard as they can. I afraid he's having a tough time now. A kid 2 years out of midget in the National Hockey League, and I don't know. I see him making mistakes. I'm not getting on that. But I think the kids are trying as hard as they can. You imagine if they were getting bad goaltending now. It'd be up in the teens. I would make a blockbuster trade right now, but who am I?
I'm afraid he obviously played well in training camp, and from what I saw, at least in the exhibition games, they did work harder, or at least looked more confident, but then they were battling for jobs. I mean, here you got basically 20 guys going out every night. Does that have something to do with it?
It's a funny thing, everybody asks me that. They see these guys at training camp banging and smashing and everything until the last week of training camp, because in the last week of training camp, they've got the team made, and then they stop. So the toughest part is making the club the first 2 weeks. It's not a training camp anymore, it's a tryout camp.
It's tough to lose in Toronto. It's tough to lose anywhere, but that's something else that now Maloney has seen as an assistant coach, but when things go bad, they can go downhill in an awful hurry, and there's no better example than 2 overtime victories to start the season. And, I mean, people were in the hot stove lounge looking for the Stanley Cup last week to have a little drink out of it before they put it away again. Now, you know what the mood's going to be like in there and everywhere else.
I feel so sorry for him. He said last night to the reporters, I surrender. And I know how he feels. I was in Colorado. You just don't know the feeling out there, folks. But listen, it's early. It's only a few games. They can turn it around. A couple of lucky goals. That's what they got. They got to get some breaks, and I'm not out there pleading for them. They haven't been getting any breaks.
In which game? Now, 2 lucky goals tonight aren't going to...
Well, how do you go into practice tomorrow and defend against getting scored on your power play? It's Murphy's Law for them right now. Let's hope they turn it around. We need it.
Hockey Night in Canada continues in just a moment. Has a pair of goals in Montreal. The Canadians leading the North Stars 4-2. We are going to show you late second period action from the Forum as we join Dick Urban and Mickey Redmond.
For Lafleur. Lafleur swings away from Napier into the center ice area. Tries to set up shot, blocked by Napier, and the puck is back down to the Canadian zone. So they'll try it all over again. Sotard handled the puck, gave it to Lafleur. Here he comes. Getting a regular turn tonight, to be sure. Over to Chabot. Left side, stops up. Chabot out in front for Steve Shutt. That kicks it back down to Curvers with a shot deflected. What a stop by Sam! Off Chabot. Oh, terrific save by the rookie. Curvers to Chabot. Misses the pass off the boards, and Hartsburg clears it down the ice. Great save that time, Mickey. Great anticipation.
Sure was. He just did the flop with both pads. He stacked them up and made the save. Lafleur standing right next to him.
Walter to the line now. The Canadians make changes. He plays the puck into the corner where Lafleur has it against Maxwell. Now it's Walter. Walter turning around. Ashton. Maxwell checking on Walter, who gets the puck to Shabbat in the corner. Back to Walter. Stopped there by Ashton. They battle at close quarters. LaFleur comes over and tips it to Larry Robinson. Into Ryan Walter. Over into the slot area. Shabbat had it knocked away from him. Svoboda to Shabbat with the Canadians controlling. Robinson a shot over the net. Walter with it. John Shabbat. He loses the puck along the boards. Picks it up again. LaFleur with it now. Penalty coming to an end as Svoboda sends it back, but LaFleur had vacated the spot. Svoboda doesn't reach that pass from Shabbat. That'll do it. And Roberts returns to the ice with just 12 seconds left in the period.
Montreal keeping themselves actually in a bad position, Dick. They're just working too far into the corner too many times and helping the North Stars out.
Period ticking away as Smith chases the loose puck behind the net. Runs into Acton, the two players involved in the trade of a year ago, as the siren goes. And the Canadians coming up with the only goal of the period, scored by Chris Nyland. And they have the 2-goal lead. And so the score.
It's a 5-goal lead here at Maple Leaf Gardens. Quebec over Toronto. Replay is next live on CBC. This is Hockey Night in Canada.
Hockey Night in Canada replay, brought to you by Apple Computers and authorized Apple dealers throughout Canada.
The Leafs really became unraveled in the second period, but the foundation for this big lead was built in the first period on 2 shorthanded goals by the Nordiques. The first one by Dale Hunter as Ally Afraidy lost the puck, and Hunter was loose from the blue line in at 15:06. Hunter assisted on the second goal as the Nordiques were killing another penalty, but Tony McKegney made the play from center ice. Hunter is with him to act as a decoy, as it turns out. McKegney looks that way, then just snaps the shot under the arm of Ken Reggett, and it is 2-0 after 1 period for Quebec. The Nordiques held that lead until the midway mark of the second period, and Hunter spotted Goulet in behind Bill Root. And Goulet was alone against Reggett and made the wide backhand move, holding the puck, waiting until Reggett's move had been completed. And then he just tucked the puck into the far side. The Nordiques have gone from there to the 6-1 lead.
Hockey Night in Canada replay, brought to you by Apple Computers and authorized Apple dealers throughout Canada.
The new Apple IIc. With over 10,000 programs, it can do almost anything for anyone. And absolutely anyone can take it home for under $2,000. The Apple IIc.
Next Saturday on Hockey Night in Canada, the Calgary Flames come east for the first time this season. Entering Maple Leaf Gardens, they'll bring with them a former great Toronto right winger, Lanny McDonald, to match up against the current star on the right side for the Leafs. Los Angeles will continue a long road swing in Winnipeg. Marcel Dion, always evident for the Kings. The Jets' new captain is Dale Hawerchuk. Join us next Saturday on Hockey Night in Canada. A couple of highlights from what we see occurring out of town. The Islanders have defeated the Los Angeles Kings 8-3, and Mike Bossy finished with 7 points, one shy of the Islanders' club record for a single game and 3 off the league record held by Darryl Sittler. Bossy had 4 goals and 3 assists as the Islanders trounced Los Angeles. And Don Cherry offered a slight put-down of the Detroit Red Wings. Whether they heard him or not, they have roared back to lead Chicago tonight, 7-4. Ivan Boldarev, one of the Red Wing veterans, and there are a few there, has 2 goals, so Detroit trying to get its second win of the season. Let's go to the third period now here at the Garden.
And we're just about ready to go with the third period. 5 in the penalty box for Toronto. So is Brubaker, Moeller, and Price for the Quebec Nordiques. Korn of the Leafs was given a minor and a game misconduct as the third man in. That was back at 16:02. At 19:45, Moeller and Brubaker for fighting. And it's 6-1. Quebec Nordiques, and they're coming in once more. McKegney, who has one of the goals, just misses with a weak shot. The Leafs back out. Anderson, the Leaf goal scored tonight, the only one. Tried to go in and was stopped at the line. Nyland couldn't keep it in. Nyland has to back up for it. Dropped it back at his own blue line. Root ahead to Courtnall. Not a good pass. He couldn't handle it. Right on the heel of a stick. A high shot off the glass. Bounced down in front of Reggett. And it was cleared back out to center. Courtnall coming in. Courtnall gets set. Spots a man open. Anderson fanned on the shot. And the Nordiques will clear it out over the line again into the center ice area. Nordiques and the Leafs both changing now. And Jackson in ahead of the play. McGill stalled up the line. And he was offside. Hunter and McKegney, shorthanded goals for Quebec in the opening period. And then there's the scoring in the second. Goulet, Peter Stastny made it 4-0. Anderson's goal then at 15-10. Savard and Bell with his first in the NHL. And the shots total now 37-15 for the Nordiques. They've really poured it on tonight. Peter Stastny coming in on this attack. Stastny at the blue line, owns the puck. Cleared it in on a skate. Finally, the Leafs, Iafrate knocked it out. Marois dropped it back.
Well, there's an example of Inachek. He was right beside Peter Stastny. You got to go right at him. You know, you give time for Peter to get his wingers in the clear, they're going to score.
There's a centering pass. Therion was knocked down by Marois in the goal crease. Got back up. Penalty coming up against Quebec. The Leafs in possession. Reggett scooting out of the net for the Leaf bench, and they have an extra man on. They try to hang on to it, but they cannot. And a cross-checking penalty is called against the Nordiques. I think Marois is going off. From Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, this is Hockey Night in Canada.
Cold garage, huh, Bill? Well, maybe it's those freezing drafts coming through your garage door. What you need is a Climalock garage door blanket kit from RCR. It's so easy you can do it yourself in no time. There, now your heating bills will be lower. And you can work in comfort in your basement and garage. Climalock garage door blanket kit from RCR. Get yours now at any of these stores.
So they've just dropped it in on the face-off, and the Nordiques bring it out. Hunter takes a long shot. Reggett got a piece of it, and it just missed the corner. Reggett reaching up for it. It looked harmless enough, but it must have dropped a little bit, and he got a piece of it. Enough to knock it away. Now the Leafs are on a power play, trying to get organized. Isaiah Frady over there. It slapped in toward the line. It hit the referee, Brian Lewis. Rice stalling back there, shooting it off the boards in open ice. And Reggett stops it to the right of the net. Preacher goes off. 5 is on the ice for Toronto. Benning gets the pass near center. Looks for 5. It hit Derlego. Therion, knowing that Derlego had gone in, had to come back with it.
You know, even with the Nordiques a man short, they're standing up with that blue line. They're really saying, all right, the blue lines are, shoot it in, but the Leafs don't want to do that.
And the Nordiques standing there again, intercepting a pass at the line. They just stop it and knock it away, keeping the Leafs off stride. They cannot get it going. Only 40 seconds left on the power play. Derlego coming in. Looks for 5. Hands it away. One man is back. McKegney is coming in. McKegney shoots, scores! McKegney going in with Savard, and he used him beautifully and fooled Reggett with the shot.
That's a replay of the goal he got in the first period. In the same situation, a 2-on-1 break. The Nordiques have been getting all kinds of them all night. But watch McKegney. He'll look to his winger, and again, right through the legs. That's the second goal he's got, the identical position. Lehman, here's from the high view, plays it, and gives the shooter to Reggett. That's the play that you work on. The defenseman stays in the middle and forces the shooter to shoot the puck. McKegney likes that idea. He's put 2 pucks the same spot.
So his second of the night here at 3:03 of the third period. Score now is 7-1 Quebec.
Now that's 3 shorthanded goals against the Leafs. Maloney's probably wondering if he can decline the penalties right now.
Both McKegney's goals have been while they were killing a penalty. Let's watch it again. Boy, can he skate.
Well, they just jammed right at the blue line. Nobody to give it to, a giveaway, and the Nordiques take advantage. Bob, you've always heard never overpass. McKegney makes that statement very true. You never get in trouble shooting the puck.
Savard again, who was with McKegney on the play, and he was the decoy, and that fooled Reggett. McKegney, I thought Gary played it beautifully by looking over that way and kind of faking the pass as he dropped the shoulder. Just took the shot. Good shot it was. There's Cote for Quebec, stealing the loose puck and sending the Nordiques away again. Savard coming in, two players, Nyland and McGill, gang up on him to clear it. Jackson's pass to the line. At center is Courtnall. Courtnall coming in. Passed it back to Jackson, right in. And he's stopped by Gosselin. He made a good play, sliding across to grab it. That last scoring play, McKegney's short-handed goal from Savard at 3:03, 7-1, Quebec. So McKegney off to another pretty good start. Michel Bergeron has not had him on the ice a lot tonight, but he's been effective each time out there, killing penalties, scoring.
Well, he's used all his players tonight, and every player that he's had out on the ice has played well.
Daou couldn't stop it. Nordiques again. The Stastnys. Marion coming in with it. Anton behind him. Peter gets set. Didn't give it away, or did he? Yes, he did. Off his stick, and it went right to Therion. Therion played it in through. Not very far. The two defensemen just knock it down and clear it into the leave zone again for Benning. Peter Stastny chased him around the net. Took him in on the boards. Here comes Marion Stastny for the loose puck. Cleared it over in front of the goal, and Iafrate knocked it away. Iafrate cannot clear it out. The Leafs Daou will bring it out across the line to center. Daou coming in. Daou stopping. Passed it over in front of the net. And the Nordiques are back covering, and it's just cleared away. Again, Anton Stastny scores! Tough night for Reggett. He started with a hot hand, but you can't hold the Nordiques forever. And this time, Anton drilled a low shot, 8-1, Quebec.
We're going to see a great pass by Marion right along the boards. Again, Peter hugs the boards, the puck comes loose. All in one motion, Marion turned around and fed the perfect pass. And the thing that, the reason the goal was scored, you notice Reggett, as he's coming out, he hasn't gained his position, the puck is going by him. And most goaltenders will tell you that's the hardest shot to stop when you haven't got your position set.
4:52, the time of the goal, the three Stastnys combining on that one. Anton scoring. Anderson and Derlego going in for Toronto. Derlego got it back again, fired it in front. Vive is covered, and the Nordiques, three of them, come to center again. Payman with Gillis. Gillis closing in. Stopped by Reggett. And the Leafs send a long pass up on the wing, and offside is Rick Vive. So he looked behind him, picked it up as he crossed center. It'll come back to the leave zone.
If your idea of a good time is pure terror, we've got as much fun as you can handle. Terror in the Aisles. All your favorite moments from the movies that made you scream. Terror in the Aisles. It's only a movie, but it's more than enough.
Starts Friday at a theater near you. Consult your listings for details.
Bob Cole and Gary Dornhofer in the booth at Maple Leaf Gardens, and the Quebec Nordiques are making a run of it now. They're up 7 goals on the Maple Leafs. 8-1 is the score. They've done everything. Power play goals, shorthanded goals. They've controlled the game from end to end. Out shooting Toronto 41-16. And we have 14:20 to play yet in this third period. McKegney with 2 goals tonight starts out with Slager. Benning couldn't stop him. Coming back on the play to help is Gavin. Gavin around the net on the boards for Jackson. Gavin on the move. He didn't give it to him until he was covered at center by Savard. And Slager will clear it out of the zone. He'll circle back first. Now he brings it out with Marois. Slager to center, crossing the line. Slager going around McGill, straight in. And robbed him of a goal. Penalty coming up on the play.
McGill gave Slager the stick as he went around him. And so he's going to go to the gate.
McGill beaten by Slager. Reagan stopped the goal, though, but McGill gets the penalty.
Filashave, the shaving machine that challenges the world. Every blade, every electric, in closeness, comfort, speed, and performance. Only Filashave holds its charge twice as long as any rechargeable shaver. Only Filashave has 3 rotary action floating heads with a unique patented lift and cut system. Get it, try it, and like it, or get your money back. Filashave from Philips.
The Maple Leafs lost to New Jersey last night in New Jersey, 4-1. They're losing this game. It's 8-1 now with 13:40 to play in the third period. And now a power play. The Stastnys starring in this role again. Anton on the circle to the left of Reggett. Reggett watching the puck carefully as Anton moves it around. Beautifully. Look at that move on Tyrion. Into the crease. Hunter gets set. Waited too long. Couldn't shoot it. And the Leafs knock it outside the line. It's called. Went high.
Now, Bergeron's got a lot of confidence in Bell, the rookie. Only 19 years old, and he's played just about every power play. He's number 6 for the Nordiques. He's made a lot of good passes tonight. Scored a goal himself. There's Walt Podubny. This is a good night to be sitting out, Walt, believe me.
Says he'll be back Wednesday. The Detroit Red Wings are in. Here's Tyrion going in. Alone. Scores! Boy, I'll tell you. Talking to him this morning, Gary, didn't care where he played, if he played, how often he played. All he said was, well, you can only go out there and try hard. And he tried hard there. He was rewarded.
Well, shorthanded seems to be the way to play the game tonight. Pretty good play by Daoud to shovel it ahead. And as Therrien's going down, somehow he's able to get good wood on that one because Bruce was tackling him from behind, and Therrien puts a shorthanded goal. That's the first for the Leafs tonight. 3 by the Nordiques. Gets that puck past Gosselin.
6:48 was the time of the goal by Tyrion. 8-2 now. Reggett stopping that one behind the net. Leafs slash it high on the boards down the ice. McGill in the penalty box, and he has another 1:05 to serve. Marois pass to the left side. Nordiques now. Stick handling out dangerously away from Gavin. And across the line is Peter Stastny. Stastny stopping to Marion. Marion gets set. Bell behind him. He goes the other way with it. Into Marois. Back to Marion. Marion, Stastny now to Bell. Bell looks back to him. Gives it to him. It goes into Marois. Flip shot. Knocked down by Root. And the Leafs get a chance to clear it. Up the line, Bell trapped it. Shot. Tipped away by Nyland. Here comes Gavin. This time he'll make no mistake. Wrapping it off the boards and down the ice. 23 seconds left in McGill's penalty. The Nordiques have a 6-goal lead on the Maple Leafs here in the third period. Long pass ahead. Went up behind Marion Stastny. Benning pushing the Nordiques back again. McGill standing up. Ready to come back on the ice. 4 seconds from now he'll be on. And the Nordiques give it another go to the line at center. Coming in on this play, Cote dropping it. Marion Stastny drilled a shot high on the glass. McGill's penalty is over. He's on the ice again. Reggett going down, watching the play form back near the line. There's the shot by Marion Stastny, nowhere near the net. Cote gave it away. Portnoy stopping inside the line. He lost it. Benning slapped at it and got it out of the zone. Rochefort to Moeller. Moeller played it ahead. Gillis flipped it in front and went by Reggett to the corner. Here's Paiement. Got it back in the slot area. Paiement a second time. Bumped by Rick Five. And Portnoy out to center. Now Paiement comes in to watch him. Nearly stole it from him. Portnoy stopped by Paiement. They have a word or two as the play goes back near Reggett. Leafs another dangerous pass through the middle. That one harmless, though, as it got through everyone to center. The 2 Nordiques were cruising in there. Price. On the far side, Goulet. Paymon. Paymon, nice play. Got away from Nyland. Threw it in the crease area, but Hunter couldn't reach it. Now Loom, his shot is blocked. And the Nordiques keep it in. Price, a drive. That's wide of the net. Paymon has the rebound. Nyland bumped with him. Goulet ripped it wide. And there goes Paymon after it again. The Nordiques, I'll tell you, are really pouring it on now. Into the corner. Jackson bumping with Hunter. The pesky Hunter couldn't keep it in. It drifts outside the line to the center ice area. And there goes Jackson. Jackson's shot, and that's an easy save for Gosselin.
Bob, normally when you got a 6-goal lead, you tend to take a little easy and just coast. That isn't the idea or the game plan with the Nordiques. They're working as hard now as they did in the first 5 minutes of the game. You know, you talk about strong forechecking. Boy, are they doing it.
Look at this play to Hunter. Shot, and he ripped it wide. He was set up beautifully by Goulet. Goulet gets it back. The Nordiques' power now outstanding in this part of the third period. There goes Brubaker. Bell went in after him and held him on the boards. Anderson now. Anderson stealing it. Easy backhand shot. And the Nordiques clear it right away. 9:25 to play in the third period. 42-19. The shots on goal, the Nordiques. And they're leading 8-2. Gavin backhands one in. Gosselin stopped it. It was off the net, but he stopped it anyway. McKechnie with 2 goals for the Nordiques starts to play to center. Coming in, Savard. Sandwiched and knocked down by Root finally. The Nordiques get in front. Reagan had to make another skate save. This time from McKechnie, as he had a pretty good bid for his 3rd goal. 8:50 to play in the Leafs. Gavin, he's skating hard. Gavin and Therion. Therion took a shot. Don't know how he got it away. He was covered all the way, but managed to shoot the puck.
See, the Leafs get 1 shot on net. Nordiques cover up, and away they go.
And this is McKechnie waiting for help. Just got rid of it, got away from Brubaker then as he did. 8:30 to play in the third period. Gavin again, another rush. Gavin played it in for Derlego. Derlego's shot. Difficult angle, couldn't get it on the net. Kept in by McGill. Back of the net is 5. He's in front. Can't shoot it from there. And the Nordiques, 3 of them to center. Coming in, Peter. Marion, back to Peter. That didn't work. Wow, she's opened up now. And the Leafs Anderson is back in with 5. Anderson gets set. Anderson has 1 goal tonight. The Leafs only have 2. Therion has the other one. 8-2 is the score. Now Marois is hit with a high stick. Falls to the ice. Play is called. Starting to get up. He's okay with the score. Quebec 8. Toronto 2. We'll return in a moment.
Oh man, rhythm is in my shoes. No use sitting there and singing the blues. So be my guest, you got nothing to lose. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? Ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise?
Molson Canadian. Taste that'll stop you cold.
Anderson's doing some checking along the side of the boards. Now watch the stick come up, and he will just clip Marois on the side of the face. Marois seems to be all right. Little cut in the chin.
Leafs trailing by 6. Anderson got in front. The Nordiques covering again. They're playing good positional hockey tonight. Anton Stastny tried to hit Peter. Now Anton again with Marion behind him. Derlego is tied up. Anderson stopped it. Got it to the line and not out. Now Iafrate takes it to center ice. Pass in. 5. Fake the shot to Anderson. Breaking in. Going in with Iafrate. And a hit escape. The Nordiques. 2 of them coming out. 1 man is back. Marion and Peter this time. Marion to Peter. Score! You knew it was going to happen. I'll tell you, Gary, if you watch it again, you'll see that Peter Stastny had to do some skating to catch up.
Well, he can motor, but look at that little soft pass. Just put it by the skate of McGill, and in it goes. And Peter, again, gets himself in a position. All right, folks, you know, you talk about puck control and the ability to hit the open man. Peter will catch up, take that little pass, rig it. Has no chance on the play as it goes in the high corner. That Stastny line, they've dominated the game right from the opening faceoff.
The entire Quebec team has. It's 9-2 now. Double figures coming up, folks, quite likely. Gillis shot. Regan having a tough night, and the fans are getting on him, but I don't think really that's fair. He was really sharp in the opening period and kept the Leafs in it for as long as he could, but they keep coming. 2-on-1, breakaways, you name it. And they've beaten them 9 times. The youngsters having a tough night against these Nordiques. And they're coming on a game. Another penalty coming up against Toronto, and this is not going to help. Cross-checking penalty is the call, and the Leafs get another penalty. The Nordiques, leading by 7, will again go on the power play.
When it comes to feeling young, a lot of it's up here.
3 years ago, Maurice Richard said goodbye gray hair. Hello, Grecian Formula 16.
It was so easy, remember?
Grecian's as easy to use as water. Works for any color hair.
The change was so gradual and looked so natural, no one even noticed. Today, I still leave a touch of gray. The wife likes it.
Hey, Richard, 2 minutes for looking so good.
Look as young as you feel with Grecian Formula 16, liquid or cream.
There is Jeff Jackson in the penalty box for cross-checking here at 13:24, so 6:36 to play. And the Nordiques leading by 7 on the power play again. Bowler's high rising shot is blocked by Regan. Nordiques get it loose. Bowler again to Bell. Bell has a goal tonight. The youngster handles the puck well. At the blue line, he plays it in for Payma. Payma might go back to him. Takes a look around at the net area. He does come back to him. Bell gets in a better position. Nice play in the goal mouth area. It's grabbed by Daou. And he holds it. Face off in the Leaf zone again. Shots now are 46-20. They'll likely hit 50 tonight against the Leafs.
And when you have a game like that, any defenseman that you have on the ice, and we're looking at Bill Root, you just feel kind of in a helpless position. You said, oh my goodness, when is this game gonna end so we can get out of here?
There's Bill Root. Off the boards, it'll go down the ice. Well, the Leafs will be off now after this one till Wednesday. That'll be a help for them when Detroit is in town, and the Nordiques, this is a help for them. They'll get some confidence as they go home, and they'll welcome the Canadians in Quebec City on Tuesday. Here's Payma scoring! Payma looking for his first goal tonight, and he got it as he let that one fly. And we're in the double figures. 10-2, Quebec.
Again, the ability to get the blue line shot along the ice. You notice it again. Regan, as he's coming out, which is the right move, Bob, but he hasn't established his position. You know, he's still got the legs open. He's moving across, and Paymont just slides it through. But Savard made a real good play. He drew the defenseman to himself and slipped the puck over to Paymont. That gave Wilf a lot of time to determine what he wanted to do. He could have gone in himself or let the shot go, which he did.
Leafs are offside. Gary, you wonder, well, now it's gone, the game, that is. 5:37 remaining. But a little while ago, the way Regan played in the early going of the first period, and now all of a sudden the Nordiques just kept coming and coming and coming, and he couldn't stop them all night. You wonder if Maloney was thinking about making a change somewhere along the line.
Oh, possibly. You know, the Leafs could have the board in there, and the board wouldn't have been able to make the saves.
I'm not talking about if another goaltender came in, it wouldn't be any different. It
No, it
might have been
wouldn't.
the same, but
No different at all.
To give Regan a bit of a break. I mean, it's gone. This game is over. However, he's in there. It's 10-2, 5:25 to play.
Hey, Canada, get a jump on 85 prices. Your Ford and Mercury drive-away celebration is on now. Our dealers have made a special purchase of full-size Crown Victorias, Grand Marquis, and aerodynamic Thunderbirds and Cougars, and they're delivering great deals direct to you. There's great availability of these best-built cars, all with Ford's new 5-year DuraGuard warranty. Drive-away celebration means best deals, best quality, and selection on 85s and 84s, too.
We can't be outdone at Ford quality. This job one.
You know, one thing the Leafs have to be concerned about, when you have two young goalies like Regan and Bester, you don't want them to lose their confidence. Maybe that was a good point, Bob. Maybe you want to get Regan out, have him a chance to watch the rest of the game, put Bester in. But that has not been the case, as Regan will go right down to the wire, looks like.
And the wire is 5:20 away in this third period. And the line is 10-2. Quebec. That's Marion Stastny. Couldn't get through with it. Peter now going to steal it. Derlego was there in time to whip it away. 5 fired one in on the boards. On this side is Anderson. Saw Derlego there. He got it back. But right to Marion Stastny. So he'll play with it a bit. Nice pass. Little nifty pass to Anton. Can't find a hole, though.
Again, Bob, you notice the Leafs backing up. They've done that all game. Just keep retreating to their goal crease. And you can't do that against the Nordiques. At least try to challenge at that center ice like the Nordiques have been doing.
Marion in front it comes. Look out. Peter is in. Took the shot. Reagan looking around for it. Again, it comes back to Peter Stastny. Gets set, played it across in front of the net. Gavin hopped on it. Gavin coming out with Anderson and Derlego. Derlego goes to the bench as Anderson wings in with it. Tried Gosselin from the blue line. 6 save. Jimmy Mann ran into Brubaker near center ice. We got something going here. Now these are two tough guys.
You can see that happening in the third period. Mann took a run at Brubaker and missed him and hit the glass. So it's just a matter of time before the two of them got out in that ice together again.
And of course, when they go, I saw it develop there at center. They went by each other. One tried to hit the other with, there's more blood on the ice, by the way, with a check. Was sidestepped. Sticks came up. They forgot everything but getting the gloves off. And that's what they did. The two big fellows squared off and went at it. This is always dangerous when they continue to fight down on the ice. So they're up and cooled out. They'll go likely to their dressing rooms. Live on CBC, this is Hockey Night in Canada.
Can you imagine 4 new millionaires last month alone? The chances are there'll be 4 more millionaires after this month's draw. It's that super lotto that's doing it, you know. Anyone can win. All they need is a ticket, and they get four chances of winning $1 million. Are you listening? They'll be everywhere, in the street, maybe even in here.
Super Lotto gives you 4 chances to win $1 million every month. Are you in?
Well, Bob, you mentioned that they were eyeing each other. Happened right at center ice as the sticks came up. And you knew that they were going to turn around, face each other, which they did. And they have been sent to their respective dressing rooms. Mann for the Nordiques and Brubaker for the Leafs. 5 minutes each for fighting.
So only 4:05 to play in the third period. And the Quebec Nordiques showing why some people around the league say, look, if you give this team a chance to skate, they're a powerhouse. They proved that tonight. They've got 10 goals and 48 shots on Ken Reagan. Gillis on the ice, rolled it ahead. It hit Daou's skate. I.F. Brady back in for Toronto. Got across the line. Nordiques back, covering up. That's Moeller. Nearly lost it to Daou. Ahead to Gillis. Another 2-on-1. Gillis and Cote right in. Scored! 2-on-1. Cote got the perfect pass from Gillis. And it's 11-2.
I think Greg would like to sue for non-support because all night the Nordiques have been breaking away 2-on-1, 3-on-1. And the main thing, Bob, is they've been capitalizing on those plays. Again, just a perfect pass. You notice that the Leafs will draw to the puck carrier, and when that happens, the puck is slid over, and Cote just puts it in the net. Doesn't matter what the Leafs do, the puck still ends up in the goal crease and behind Reagan.
16:30, the time of that goal. We welcome you people who have been watching the Montreal-Minnesota game. And what did you miss here? You missed a great show of power by the Quebec Nordiques against a lackluster Maple Leaf effort tonight. It's 11-2, and we're in the third period. I'm Bob Cole, and with me here in the booth is Gary Dornhofer recording all this action with only 3:22 to play. They got 2 shorthanded goals in the first period. Outscored the Leafs 4-1 in the second. You think they'd quit? Nope. They've outscored the Leafs, that is, again here in the third 4-1 and outshopped them over the 2 periods in 16:38 of this third, 49-21. A busy night for young Ken Regan in goal for the Maple Leafs. Dan Maloney is wondering what to do. He's got 3 days off now before the Leafs play their next game. He's going to have to do something about 2-on-1s and stuff like that, Gary, because it's happened a lot tonight.
Going to do a lot of work, and if things do not change, Dan Maloney's going to look like John Brophy on the top of his head, all gray hair.
3 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in the third period of a hockey game dominated by the Quebec Nordiques. The beautiful passing of the Stastnys. And you can put everybody on this Quebec team into that category tonight. They've been handling the puck beautifully. Moeller on the defense has been a standout. There are the Nordiques again, finding the spot open, and Lube gets his first goal. Bell earlier, Bruce Bell, number 6, got his first, and now Peter Lube, the brother of Holden Lube, gets his first.
You don't know how difficult a shot that is by Lube to get good wood on that, because you'll see this pass coming from out there. That's zipping along pretty good, and to time that one the way Lube did, that's quite a feat. He just lets it rip, and it seems like everything that the Nordiques shoot goes in the net. Doesn't matter if it's at the blue line or in the slot or the crease, the puck just keeps going in. So the first of the year for Peter Lube, 27-year-old from Sweden.
From Karlstad, Sweden, and a happy young man. I suppose in terms of hockey players, not a young man anymore. 27 years old, but coming over here now to play in the National Hockey League with the Quebec Nordiques, and that has to be a big thrill for him. Set up beautifully and firing that one through.
You know, players love to score goals, and this just fattens up your goals average, point total. But also the Nordiques, they've done an excellent job defending. They haven't given up many scoring chances.
2:40 to play in the third period. And the Leafs wondering, they have to be wondering, when will this night ever end? It's 12-2. The shots are 50-21. Here's 51 coming up. Regan is down. And he hangs on to this one as the Leafs give it away in front of the young netminder again. Young Ken Regan, 20 years old, scrambles to his feet, and he is in a sweat.
Bob, I played in games like that where we've just been blown right out of the building, and as you had said, will the game ever end? You'd almost wish there'd be no whistle so they could continuous play and get off the ice. And when you're out there, you can hardly wait to get off the ice for the next change. And players that have bonuses for plus minus, you know, when you have a game like this, it's very difficult to get those minus back again.
The Nordiques keep it in. Bell's shot trickled off the arm of Regan. Now the Leafs, Jackson trying to get it out of the zone. He got it up to center ice. Moeller stuffed it through again. Benning slapped at it. Moeller once more waits for a moment, then lost it to Courtnall. And now 2 minutes to play. 12-2 the score. Quebec all over the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs losing last night 4-1 in New Jersey. Hammered here tonight at home. The Nordiques edged out by Buffalo last night 5-4 and get on a winning track now before they go home to welcome the Canadiens on Tuesday night in the Coliseum in Quebec City. Minute and a half to play. Therion, who has one of the goals for the Leafs, coming in. Therion around the net. Got it back to Benning. Benning to Therion again. Therion slides it in front. And Gonsolin, he's been pretty good. Hasn't been tested a lot, mind you, but he's top 5 that time. Benning. Long shot, now by. Score! Well, you say it. It's out of your mouth. No more than 3 seconds. And 5 wound up and let her go.
Well, you don't see any happiness on his face when he puts the puck in the net, but one of the few times tonight, folks, where the Leafs have had any kind of pressure on the Nordiques, it just hasn't been there, or the time to really wind up and let a shot go. You know, an errant shot or pass, I don't know what you want to call that, by Benning from the point, resulted in the goal by Vive, his second of the year.
1846, the time of the goal, the third of the night for the Maple Leafs, and the first for Vive in 6 meetings against these Quebec Nordiques. They shut them out 5 times. That's the longest scoreless streak against any NHL club for Rick Vive. Jim Korn was the 3rd man in an altercation earlier in a hockey game, and for that he got a quick shower and is now watching the last of this hockey game. Vive is in again, tied up though by Moeller. Moeller takes his time, brings it out, throws it ahead at the elite blue line. Nyland fell. The Nordiques are offside with 59 seconds to play. That's the biggest cheer of the night. The fans here in the Gardens welcome that announcement.
Bob, let's put everything into perspective. The Leafs were very bad tonight, but you know, they weren't allowed to do a lot of things they wanted to do tonight because of the job the Nordiques did. And as we look at that blue and white hockey club, that's dark blue, they have to be serious contenders if they continue to play this way, because they have all the skills and all the type of players that they need to challenge for that Stanley Cup. Goal scorers, they played good defense. They've only allowed, I think, 1 2-on-1 break all night.
Again, the Nordiques playing outside the line. Running out the clock now as Gosselin goes down and makes this one look easy. There's a shot from just inside the line with 40 seconds to play. Payma faked the shot on Nyland. Threw it out in front of Reagan, and Anderson was back. Anderson's pass too far for Rick Vive. 30 seconds to play in the hockey game. Puck ahead, Anderson nearly stole it. Nordiques covering though. Bruce Bell knocked it ahead. Gerlego had it go off his stick. Here's Root shooting in with 20 seconds to play. The Leafs and the Nordiques making their final changes of the game. With 14 seconds left, the Nordiques running out the clock in their own zone now. Trying to shoot it down. McGill played it back. Slager intercepted, took a shot. Reagan stopped it. And now they bang it on the boards and down the ice as the horn goes to end the onslaught here at Maple Leaf Gardens, with the Quebec Nordiques out shooting the Maple Leafs 53-23 and beating them 12-3.
Well, congratulations for the Nordiques, and the players came to Reggett. They weren't congratulating him, probably saying, I'm sorry for the job I did. So it wasn't a very good effort by Toronto by any means.
In just a moment, our Molson Cup 3-star selection.
Full week, Saturday to Saturday without a loss, beginning last Saturday against Pittsburgh, the win over Philadelphia Monday, the tie against the Kings.
You win, but I can't imagine anybody that would have taken the opposite side of that bet. Dale Hunter was the first star. He got things going with that shorthanded goal right off the bat, then set up the second goal and the third goal as well. Anton Stastny, but that first name is probably interchangeable. Peter and Marion played well, and Tony McKegney scored 2 of Quebec's 3 shorthanded goals. There were 4 in the game because the Leafs had 1 too. Well, a week ago, this would have been impossible to visualize. The Leafs were playing well, and who'd have thought that they'd have returned to last year or worse? But I can't remember too many games, if any, that were worse than this a year ago. Hockey Night in Canada returns in just a moment.
In this uncertain and bewildering world of personal computers, the Tandy 2000 stands apart. In power, speed, and graphics, the Tandy 2000 is clearly superior. For service, support, and software, Tandy is clearly superior. Available exclusively at Radio Shack computer centers. Compare. You too will immediately recognize Tandy technology, service, and support are clearly superior.
Now, the NHL Tonight, featuring the scores, stories, and news highlights of tonight's game. From our control center in Toronto, your host, Dave Hodge.
Well, the Montreal Canadiens merely won tonight, while the Quebec Nordiques absolutely romped over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Those the highlights of a Hockey Night in Canada Saturday. The Canadiens defeating the North Stars by a score of 4-2. Steve shot 2 goals to spoil the NHL debut of rookie goaltender Mike Sands, but Minnesota's concern now is with Keith Acton, who left the ice on a stretcher with an apparent eye injury, hopefully not serious. Hartford beat Vancouver 3-2 as the Whalers are in first place in the Adams Division They are 4-1-1. Mike Bossy had a big night for the Islanders. He had 7 points. His line mates John Tonelli and Brent Sutter had 6 each, 19 scoring points for the line. Bossy had 4 goals. The Rangers beat Washington 6-5. Mike Allison's goal less than 4 minutes to play, the difference there. St. Louis is leading New Jersey by a score of 5-2. Kevin LaValle, a free agent pickup from Los Angeles, has 2 goals for the Blues. Pittsburgh defeated Philadelphia 3-1. Last-minute goal by Doug Shedden was the winner. Bo Mantha into an empty net for insurance. Detroit beat Chicago by a score of 7-4 at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. Ivan Bolderev had 2 goals, and we've saved this for last because the Quebec Nordiques defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs 12-3. Everybody but Michel Bergeron had a point, I think, and he was last seen complaining to the official score. So that's the story, and Harold Ballard picked the right game to attend because the Hamilton Tiger Cats have made the playoffs in the Eastern Football Division, beating Ottawa tonight 20-14. We'll return with more on Hockey Night in Canada after this message. There are no football scores as Calgary meets Toronto here at Maple Leaf Gardens, and the Los Angeles Kings will be at Winnipeg. Join us for the game in your area, and good night for now from the NHL Tonight. Live on CBC, Hockey Night in Canada. Brought to you by Molson, North America's oldest brewery with nearly 200 years of brewing excellence. Esso, with over 3,000 locations across Canada to serve you better. And by Ford of Canada, where quality is more than a commitment. Quality is job one. Hockey Night in Canada is a CBC Sports presentation produced in cooperation with Canadian Sports Network.
This is CBC,